An island for all. I can add attributes to everything. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 376, Staring into the Abyss. As Su-Bei stared into the abyss also stared at him. In the abyss, several demon gods felt something in their hearts and looked at the same place. There is the passage to the island world. In the passage, there is a firm line of sight. The devil knew instantly. The law of omniscience is mastered. And not some, but all. Even the demon god was horrified to discover that some of the omniscient laws he had already mastered had disappeared without a trace, and disappeared for no reason. Who is it, dare to steal my treasure? The voice of the devil wafted in the abyss, and countless demons lay on the ground, shivering. The devil is angry, and he bleeds thousands of miles. Bang bang. Countless demons exploded into blood foam flying all over the sky, spilling the demon beside him. Pieces of blood fell into the black soil of the abyss and were absorbed in the blink of an eye. Immediately afterwards, the white mist gathered in a corner of the abyss, and countless little demons were born. These newborn demons 827 killed and devoured each other, and most of them perished in a short period of time. And those who survived, their rank was raised. They grow new horns with fleshy wings behind them. At the same time, a new round of fighting began. The winner devours flesh and blood, and the loser returns to nothingness. After doing this several times, the newly born demon grows to the silver level and initially has the foundation to become a warrior. But this is not the end. A new round of fighting begins again. This is the daily life of the abyss. Only fight and die. But today, there is a little more strange atmosphere. The demon gods standing on the ground of the abyss are angry, surprised, and joking. Su-Bei's gaze towards the abyss made them discover that the island world does not seem to be as fragile as imagined. The most important thing is that the law of omniscience has completely appeared in the island world. Then there is nothing to say. Step up your attack. Standing in the abyss, you can see the figure of the devil, a total of 72. But now, the 72 demon gods have joined forces to mobilize the supreme power, and the manic energy rushed straight into the channel, forcibly widening it, allowing stronger demons to pass through. Of course, the demon god would definitely not be able to get through. It is easy to cause channel jumping. If they fall into the turbulent flow of the void, even the demon gods like them will only end in perdition. The abyss demon god just made a move, and on the abyss, countless demons rushed to the abyss passage. Looting, killing, fresh flesh is calling them. On the island, Su-Bei retracted his gaze. He had already seen the demons gathering, and immediately conveyed the order. Islia replied, "My lord, rest assured, my clan will surely fight the enemy bravely, and I will never let you down." While speaking, Islia was also secretly shocked. After absorbing the crystal ball of the treasure chest, Su-Bei's strength has become beyond her estimation. The level is still at the high level of Xinjiao, but the real combat power far exceeds her sanctuary level. The biggest change is undoubtedly Su-Bei's eyes, with bright golden light. His eyes swept over, and the reality of the world was in full view. After thinking for a moment, the golden light in Su-Bei's eyes gradually disappeared. The surrounding decay and the others breathed a sigh of relief. The breath of Su-Bei just now made them completely unable to speak. It was too lofty and stalwart. It seems that there is no end to the mountain, and you can only worship it. Restraining their minds, Decay and others began to arrange defense work. Not long after the order was sent out, the abyss passage in the sky vibrated violently, and a crisp cracking sound wafted throughout the island world. Everyone looked up subconsciously. Then it was horrified to discover that the size of the abyss passage was rapidly increasing. Countless black dots squeezed out of the passage and landed from the sky with billowing demonic energy. Just a cursory scan, you can see that the total number of demons attacking this time is definitely more than 10 million. And it seems that there is no limit. Every moment is pouring out of the abyss passage. The demon selected targets in the air and slaughtered in all directions. More than 200,000 demons came straight to the Wood Elves' territory. They received the order of the devil to kill all the creatures here. Su Bei's eyes swept away, and the power of the law of omniscience was released. The 200,000 demons with strange shapes in the sky were instantly reduced by 150,000. Those are silver gold cannon fodder. However, the reduction in the number of enemies did not ease the pressure of the battle. After all, the rest, the minimum is platinum. The number is 50,000, which is terrifying. In another place, not to mention the island owner, even the aboriginal strong people can't resist it at all. 50,000 platinum level, what is this concept? Many strong races count the old and the weak, women and children, but they cannot reach this number. For example, a wood elves would be worth 20,000 when they are fully loaded. There are many silver grades in it. Of course, this is all in the past. The current wood elves, although the total number is only about 14,000, but before the strength, it was 100 times stronger than in its heyday. Except for those who were born for a short time and whose basic level is not high. The remaining wood elves have the lowest platinum level. The number of diamonds and above is even more numerous than stars. Coupled with other races, the attack of 50,000 platinum level demons is still unable to break through the defense line. When the demon descended to a certain height, Su Bei cast his omniscient eye again to weaken the demon's power. Various defensive weapons also began to breathe fire. Many platinum middle and low level demons suffered repeated blows, were completely unable to resist, and turned to ashes in mid-air. Their remains were absorbed by the world tree, converted into gifts, and blessed on the warriors. Under the situation, more than 10,000 demons were beheaded at the moment of the battle between the two sides. The battle has entered a white-hot stage. It is also the cruelest stage. The indigenous warriors under Su Bei's command have been strengthened. But the demons are not bad either. Even if it was 10 for 1 or even 20 for 1, it still caused the sacrifice of many aboriginal warriors. The aboriginal people next to them grabbed the victims and sent them to the rear. After cleaning the wounds, they were transported to the Spring of Life for the resurrection ceremony. In order to avoid more casualties, the strong men under Su Bei joined the battle one after another. This became the last straw to crush the devil. These powerhouses can easily kill hundreds of demons. 5 minutes later, the battle was over. The logistics force rushed to the battlefield and began to clean up the aftermath. The demon heart was taken out and sent to the forge, while the remaining parts were collected after extracting useful materials and became the nourishment of the world tree. These processes are quite complete. Su Bei doesn't have to worry about it. He has already come to the drawing room at this time. He already knew the difficulties of the second-order magic pattern printer. In fact, not only the second-order magic pattern printer, but even the fifth-order magic pattern printer, Su Bei knew how to make it. But knowing the method does not mean that 2.5 can be done now. Because there is one core material, he can't get it now. That is the heart of the devil. The power core of the fifth-order magic pattern printer turned out to be the heart of the devil, and Su Bei knew it for the first time. To be honest, a bit outrageous. Concentrating his mind, Su Bei found even told the main points of the second-order magic pattern printer. Eve was too shocked to speak. She thought hard, but only had an idea. But the island owner actually mastered all the data? Outrageous. What shocked Eve even more was that Su Bei then gave the manufacturing method of the third-order magic pattern printer. It's very difficult, but you can try it. Eve sighed. Islander, I've taken it. Su Bei smiled, and after explaining a few words, went to the alchemy room to help Helena modify some of the potion recipes to make it easier to configure. Helena was also taken aback. Who is the potion master? Chapter 377. Let's go shake people together. Changes to the alchemy room and drawing room were completed quickly. After the production method of the second-order magic pattern printer was cracked by Su Bei, several supreme-level dwarves headed by Leopold completed the production of corresponding parts in a very short time. With their strength, the parts produced cannot find the slightest difference, and there is no error. And Eve also completed the modification of the control magic pattern under the guidance of Subei. There are two types of second-order magic printers. One is to directly print the complete second-order magic pattern. The other is to upgrade the magic pattern on the basis of the original first-order magic pattern to make it a second-order magic pattern. In contrast, the requirements of the second magic pattern printer are more difficult. There are many problems to be solved. Eve had not made progress before, and was worried about how to reconnect the existing magic pattern to complete the upgrade. After all, the core element of the drawing of the magic pattern is continuity, which cannot be interrupted. But this problem, in the face of the law of omniscience, is not a problem at all. Subei directly gave the best solution. Eve didn't ask much, made it into a control core, combined with the parts sent by Forge 17, and completed two specifications of the second-order magic pattern printer. The test is successfully completed. Whether it is the second-order magic pattern drawn directly or upgraded on the basis of the first order, the expected results have been achieved. At the same time, Subei also improved the carrier of the magic pattern scroll, so that it is no longer limited to gilt parchment. The new magic pattern scroll is made of the rhizomes of special plants, mixed with various materials, and the final product has the effect of 95% of gilt parchment. Is an excellent substitute. However, gilt goats still have to be raised. Because of the new paper, the biggest problem is the short storage time. This is a congenital insufficiency that cannot be solved. Fortunately, it is wartime, and the magic pattern scroll will be used as soon as it is shot, so there is no need to think about saving it for the time being. Now that the second-order magic pattern printer is completed, there is no need to increase the number of first-order magic pattern printers. Not only that, the existing machines also need to be upgraded so that they can make second-order magic pattern scrolls. In the future, the second-order magic pattern scroll will become a mainstream commodity. When he heard the news, Shen Qingling was surprised. The special team was too shocked to speak. If it weren't for the demonic offensive in full swing now, they would have to hold another meeting. How long did it take for the first-order magic pattern scroll to release the supply? And they started to fiddle with the second order. How to say. As expected of Subei, he always surprises them. Having said that, why did the demons suddenly be so fierce, and the amount of tens of millions was dropped, almost blinding them? If it weren't for the magic pattern scroll provided by Subei, it would be really unbearable. It's a pity that these island owners didn't know that the reason why the demon went mad was because Subei glanced at the abyss and alarmed the abyss demon. Of course, the deeper reason is that Subei absorbed all the law of omniscience, which caused many abyss demons to fall short, which made them to forcibly open up abyss passages and speed up the demons' offensive at all costs. This matter, the outside world does not know. Subei will not even mention it. And the island owners of the special task force have magic pattern scrolls, which can barely stand it, and the island owners of other forces are quite miserable. The names on the demon slaying list began to change wildly again. Even the top 100 island owners may disappear in the next second. Subei has been following the demon killing list, and naturally he also knows the outside world. It is unacceptable for the island owner and the aborigines to be blown up by demons. Decisive to start the surrogate business again, and dispatch the strong under his command to go out to fight. Now there are more than 10 supreme powerhouses under his command. Being able to help 5 island masters at the same time, the efficiency is extraordinary. On the other hand, Subei also commissioned Shen Qingling to connect her with the island owners around the aboriginal tribes. Subei wants to implement a plan to transfer the aborigines from other places to further enhance the heritage. The great prayer of millions of believers, the great improvement, made him unforgettable. In fact, fighting on behalf of and gathering the aborigines can be carried out at the same time. Subei did the same. The omniscient eye swept away, and quickly found what he wanted most from various information, and selected the first batch of lists. The 5 island owners. Claudia, Eudora, Jerome, Zacharias, Garcia. These 5 supreme-level powerhouses will each lead their star-level assistants to different islands to fight. First defeat the demons there, then gather the surrounding aborigines, and gather them on Subay Island through the island owner's teleportation ability. Claudia and the others set off. Their departure obviously made the devil feel that he was okay, and attacked again. Deslia was very unhappy, and decisively shot, volleying and killing all 50,000 demons. This process lasted only 5 seconds. The dragon breath that covered the sky passed, and the demon directly turned into fly ashes, leaving no trace. Including the heart and magic energy crystals, all are gone. But Subay didn't care. These things are already dispensable to him. Since the start of the war, the number of enemies he killed has exceeded 1 million, and countless materials have been accumulated in the warehouse, which cannot be used up at all. Burning 50,000 demons is just a drizzle. However, the power of the sanctuary level still makes Subay very interested. It's definitely not that strong. With the help of the all-seeing eye, Subay studied for a while how Aslia's powers worked. After half a day, Claudia and her party returned one after another. They not only helped Subay increase the number of kills by more than 100,000 enemies, but also brought back more than 100,000 indigenous people. These aborigines went into battle lightly, without even bringing dry food. They just followed. Subay was naturally very satisfied, and the smile on the corner of his mouth couldn't stop. Although they are all tribes with poor strength, what does it matter? After 4 entries, the black iron level can soar to the silver level. The power of belief that this rank can provide is no longer weak. And 100,000 aboriginal people, how could they all make up the number? Without any means of pressing the bottom of the box, they would not be able to survive until now. Subay completed the refresh and fixation of the entry in a very short time, and added dozens of star-level powerhouses again. As for the diamond grade below, more than 1,000. The number is very exaggerated. Platinum and gold levels are in units of 10,000. The 100,000 aboriginals fell in admiration and threw themselves into the command of Subay with a smile on their faces. The cardinals got busy, bringing their bishops and surrogates to reassure the hearts of the people, and preached the doctrine of the Society of Hope. The added power of faith makes Subay feel at ease. He made a decision in an instant. Must continue to fight. Although the demons now have Xinyao level, it is not very safe to send Xinyao level out to fight alone. But there are so many stars under Subay. 3 and 5 are not safe, then send 10 directly. But for now, rest. When these star powerhouses return, they will bring back more than 200,000 aboriginals. The entire Wood Elf territory was brightly lit, and the resettlement work was in full swing. The entries are refreshed and fixed, and the number of strong players has increased again. Easily organize more than a dozen generation fighting squads. Screen the list, start sending, and the whole process is in order. That is to say, it is dark now, and Subay does not want to let the strong men under his command take risks, otherwise there will be at least 20 or 30 squads that can be dispatched to fight. Even though it was late at night, Subay still didn't sleep. The magic grain potion and equipment are arranged, as well as Dukaya's astrology prediction for good and bad, and then carry 2 bottles of life spring water, absolutely armed to the teeth. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 378. The number of Aborigines exceeds 2 million. After a busy night, more than 300,000 Aborigines have found suitable living areas and settled down initially. There are so many Aborigines, some dig holes to live, some sleep in trees, and some live in water. That is to say, the area of the fortress defense circle is large enough, otherwise it really cannot accommodate so many outsiders. Taking advantage of the increased opportunity of the Aborigines, Subay took advantage of the situation and arranged for personnel to expand the defense circle and build new fortresses. Demons naturally don't watch. However, the construction of the new fortress, there are strong people sitting in the town, and it is within the firepower range of the original defense circle. In addition to being blasted, the attacking demons can't make any waves at all. When the new weapons and equipment arrived at the construction site, the fortress had not yet been built. and the firepower network was first arranged. The blow to the devil is getting more and more violent. Armed with the law of omniscience, Sube has improved the blood Duke's potion, and now even the star demon will be weakened. As for the demon cannon fodder of the silver gold level, before reaching the battle, it basically died out. Without the cannon fodder to disperse the firepower, the remaining demons, no matter how high the level, will suffer a big loss under the firepower coverage. Demons with strength as strong as a star-level star will also be attacked in a concentrated manner. They often have to face Zinnia-level powerhouses that are several times their own. How can the devil fight again? Moreover, the demons can fight, and the strong under Sube can fight even more. 4 entries are fixed: 2 add attack, 2 add defense, and the combat power directly explodes. This is also the main reason why Sube is confident and bold and continues to send people out to fight on behalf of him. The current Zinnia level demon offensive can no longer threaten him. Even if there is a supreme level demon, there is a way to deal with it. Taking a step back, even if the top powerhouses under Sube's command were not on the defensive line, as long as Sube was here, there would be no mistakes. When it comes to fighting demons, Sube is professional. As a demon slayer and possessing the skill of slaughtering demons in 100 battles, Sube could kill a supreme level or even a sanctuary level demon with a single knife. Although he has not yet fought in actual combat, he already knows the result. This is the power of the law of omniscience. Not only can the existing data be analyzed, but it can also be perfectly predicted. In a sense, it is equivalent to foreknowledge. While repelling the demon's continued offensive, more powerhouse teams were dispatched by Sube. Fighting on behalf of others is second, mainly to gather the aborigines. In just one morning, more than a dozen surrogate squads returned, bringing back nearly 200,000 indigenous people. Those who have been able to persist until now are not bad among the aborigines. But they also saw the situation clearly and knew that the demon's offensive was far from over. It will be more difficult in the future. In this case, a rescue team led by a star-level or even a supreme-level powerhouse emerged. How to choose? Of course, do not have to think too much. After urgently taking away some high-value items, these aborigines were transferred to Shankingaling Island by teleportation. Then teleport to Sube's side. The current Wood Elf territory is not only in full swing around the fortress, but also busy inside. Existing residents have shown great enthusiasm for these new aborigines. When the entry is fixed, the sense of intimacy between each other arises spontaneously, and they begin to build a new home together. Smiles spread on every aboriginal face. And this is just the beginning. Sube's target is not limited to the 100,000 and 200,000 aboriginal people. What he wants is millions of indigenous people. To this end, more generation squads are needed. After the newly promoted powerhouses finished drawing the Fifth Order magic pattern and fully armed, they started their journey of fighting on behalf of them. They had just escaped from the ravages of demons, and they hated demons deeply, and they were very concerned about other aboriginal people, and their actions were progressing rapidly. Every time you arrive at a new island, you will be beaten up first, killing all the demons, and then gathering the nearby aborigines and starting to teleport. The number of aboriginal people under Sube began to soar. 1.5 million. 1.7 million, 2 million. Before night falls, Sube has added 1 million aboriginals. The entire Wood Elf territory was too busy to see idlers. Equally busy, there is Lulu. When he saw so many New Hope Church believers, he was so excited that he almost fainted. The 2 vice popes, Renata and Violet, were also very excited and took the cardinals around to preach the doctrine. With the entry fixed in front, the work is unimpeded. What the bishops have to do is to explain the content of the prayers to the believers and guide them to better dedicate their faith. In particular, the content of prayers is explained over and over again, making sure that the meaning of each sentence is understood by believers. This concerns the brilliance of the Lord and cannot be lost. It is with the efforts of these bishops and surrogates that the newly arrived Aboriginal people can understand the teachings of the Hope Society in the fastest time and provide the purest power of faith. Subay estimates that he will be promoted to the top of the star shining without waiting for the next big prayer. The next big prayer is the moment to directly impact the supreme level. The rapid progress made Subay feel a little dazed. The higher the level, the faster his upgrade speed. It's also a miracle. However, Subay also knows that this is the case because the number of new believers is too large. When the beliefs of believers stabilize, the power of belief that can be provided will no longer be explosive growth, but a long history. In addition, the number of new Aboriginal people, that is, there will be more these days. When the Aboriginal people who are convenient to transfer are all transferred, the growth rate will be reduced in the future. Subay's eyes burned. His sight was on Blue Star. There are countless believers there waiting to be converted. While the island world was in turmoil, the turmoil of Blue Star never stopped, even more chaotic than the island world. After all, Blue Stars are all ordinary people, not to mention high-level demons. Even the Black Iron rank can cause a lot of slaughter. Blue Star Company's ability user Demon Hunter team has been dispatched everywhere. These power users will promote the existence of the Hope Society while killing the demons. This is part of the cooperation content, and the special team will not stop it. According to the data returned, Kionja, there are already more than 20,000 devout believers in Zyg. As for other places, there are hundreds of thousands of ordinary people who joined the Hope Club. However, for the time being, they can only be regarded as joining, not as believers, and they need Blue Star's agents to continue to work hard. In this regard, Subay felt the need to go back and show it off. In the island world, there is a paradise without pain and sacrifice. Subay is unnecessary. All Hope members know that if they are religious enough, they can be sheltered. However, if they want to go to the island, they must pass the test of the agent. Even in the face of the devil's attack, he still stands still. This is a very strong attraction for the hopeful members. The whole process is recorded and hoped to spread in Blue Star. Resolutely teleport to the West City, and bring 20,000 believers back to the island. When the recorded data spread out, the number of ordinary people who chose to join the Hope Club soared. Chapter 379. The Direction of the Heart. Alan is one of the people in the slums of Zyg. To say the most proud thing in my life, maybe that I witnessed Du Ling's eldest sister's head being selected by His Excellency Subay and taken to the island, and she has grown steadily since then. Whenever he thinks of the scene at that time, Alan is very sad. She was not far from the head of Du Ling, but unfortunately she was not selected. When the teleportation beam lit up, Alan knew that he had missed the chance to turn over. But Alan is very clear that he is not a gifted person. Not being selected is normal, being selected is abnormal. After all, when she was training as a trainee island master, she didn't hold on for even half an hour. She was frightened and fled back to Blue Star. From then on, they could only live in the slums. But the good news is that with Subay's presence in the island world and Du Ling's outstanding performance in Subay, the slums have also gained a certain amount of resources. It's not enough to completely change their lives, but it also saves them from starvation. In his spare time, Alan also fantasizes. If she had been chosen, would her life be different? Originally, Alan thought that life would continue like this to the end. But with the establishment of Subay's company, the lives of the people at the bottom of the slums are also getting better. There are not many 827 people who have been selected by Du Ling and become superpowers. That is a supernatural being, a high-ranking figure. Once upon a time, the slums were places that psychics simply didn't want to set foot in. Without resources and connections, even if there are talents here, they will not be discovered. After all, the first reaction to the outside world's impression of slums is chaos and untrustworthiness. Alan did not deny this. But she also knows that even in the slums, there are many people who have kind thoughts and desire to change. But it's too hard. The outside world does not give them this opportunity at all. Except for His Excellency Subay. Thinking of the companions who joined the company and became superpowers, Alan felt a little disappointed. In addition to being happy for them, she has no talent. Not only did he not have the talent to become an island owner, but he also did not have the talent to become a power user. She actually went to the company and met Sube. It's just that the other party walked past her without stopping. Alan didn't hold any grudges. After all, there is no talent. This is something that cannot be changed. Fortunately, the company's treatment is good. Even if they are not selected, they can work in the company and get good returns. After a few months of this, the factory held a meeting and said that there are two kinds of street food, and the company will provide free recipes and teach them. But correspondingly, you need to be the eyes and ears of the company, wandering the streets of Zyg to collect intelligence. Screen out any persons who are unfavorable to the company and report them. Alan chose to sign up immediately. Companions also advised her. They are just ordinary female workers, and it is too far away from them to distinguish such things as intelligence. If you don't get it right, you will take your life into it. Alan was fearless. In her heart, there is always a figure, full of confidence and strength, like a god walking in the world. In addition, Alan felt that he had received a great favor and must be rewarded, so he decided to leave the factory, and after training, he took a cart and sold small balls on the street. To be honest, Alan was surprised when he tasted octopus balls for the first time. The taste is full of layers. It's mainly that salad dressing that sublimates the flavor of the whole small balls. In addition to small balls, there is also octopus teppanyaki. Alan was slightly puzzled. Did Lord Sube have a bar with octopus? Both snacks are centered around octopus. But it doesn't matter. The important thing is that Alan has his own place on the street. And she has an ordinary appearance and a standard public face, and many diners will gossip while waiting and ignore her. As a result, Alan even collected some information and won the company's award. Even General Manager Zhang Wen met her and gave her more important tasks. Find the devil. At that time, the island world was already in chaos, but Blue Star was relatively stable. But with the lighthouse country bringing some women back to Blue Star, the threat of the devil began to erupt. At first, the protection work of Longo was in place, and there were no relevant reports. However, with the continuous deterioration of the situation in the world of the island world, BHCF, the protection of the Dragon Kingdom was flawed, and the demons began to wreak havoc. Fortunately, Zying site, which is fairly stable. But Alan didn't take it lightly. She felt that her neighbors were very problematic. It was a girl who came back from the lighthouse country. According to her, she returned from her studies, and she was arrogant every day, and she chose Zyg this way and that, saying it was not as good as the lighthouse country. The people in the slums are too lazy to pay attention to this jumping clown. What came back after completing his studies? He was obviously sent back after 2 years of brushing the dishes. But everyone is too lazy to dismantle it. No matter how advanced the dishwashing technology of Lighthouse Country is, they can't use it. Alan's focus is not how arrogant this woman is or how strange her words are. But it lies in her belly, which is getting bigger and bigger every day. It is normal to be pregnant. Maybe it's in the lighthouse state. But the speed of the other's belly swells is very unreasonable. However, the other party was reclusive and rarely communicated with outsiders, and Alan couldn't collect more information. As hope begins to spread its teachings, Alan puts his neighbors behind him first. This is the church established by Lord Sube, and she must join. With infinite relevance for Sube, Alan's faith is firm and he has a very deep understanding of the teachings. Agents say she has potential. In addition to being humble, Alan was also thinking secretly. I wonder if Lord Sube can feel her piety. Think it is possible. After joining the Hope Club, Alan went to the agent to report the abnormality of the neighbor woman. The agent's expression changed at that time, and a contact was sent. Afterwards, several power users with resolute faces arrived and let Alan lead the way. They wear special leather jackets and are fully equipped. Alan knew these people. They were the famous demon hunting squad. It is said that it was established by His Excellency Sube. It's a pity that Alan is not a power user, otherwise he would have to apply to join. With a different idea in mind, Alan took the team members home. Before they knocked on the door, they saw that the wooden door was smashed, and the blood-stained demon grinned at them in the shadows and let out a roar. Through the crack of the door, you can see the woman lying on the floor, breaking a big hole by herself, looking out the door with empty eyes, with despair and puzzlement, unable to figure out why things are like this. Alan didn't feel spurned or sad. This is the path chosen by the other party. She will not judge. As for the newly born demon, under the attack of the demon hunter team, he was killed on the spot without causing further trouble. Should have been received. He appeared in the West City, gathered these members of the Hope Club, and announced something. Because Lord Subei is back. After this incident, Alan was rewarded by the agent, as well as the bonus sent by General Manager Zhang Wen. Looking at His Excellency Subei's dazzling golden eyes, Alan knew her belief, Lord Subei received. But more than that, Alan wanted to know more. Their beliefs. After the test, they will become islanders and leave this turbulent blue star. Her faith has been responded to. Chapter 380. The Abyss Passage is widened. The Supreme Demon Lord is coming. 20,000 human believers came to the Wood Elves' territory, and their residence was in the third fortress of the island. Living with the power user who arrived on the island before, it is good to have a look after. The current Wood Elf super island has changed a little after it has been continuously integrated into the island. The overall specifications have not changed, but the original core area, which is the territory of the Wood Elves. Generally speaking, it is the large river that extends towards the center of the super island, allowing Subei's island to stay here. The island still maintains its previous style. It's just that the first and fourth fortresses at the head and tail are connected to the super island, as a bridge for the spirit of the island to integrate with the super island. The other four fortress islands are inconvenient to maintain as they are, but the area has been expanded to accommodate more residents. The addition of 20,000 human believers did not make the third fortress crowded. What is also worth celebrating is that the mountain elves have all been relocated under the persuasion of Helena and Eve. In order to convince the diehards of the mountain elves, the Wood Elves Queen Decaya and the Dragon Mother Asluya went together, showing unparalleled strength. The Alpine Elves chose to surrender. Mainly because their situation is not very optimistic. Alpine Elves live on high mountains and have strong defensive capabilities against ground enemies. But the devil descended from the sky and directly impacted the elf territory of the mountains. The two sides fought for several months, causing casualties to each other. Generally speaking, more demons die, but they don't care. They can do whatever they want. But the Alpine Elves can't do it. They have a total of more than 10,000 and less than 20,000, and one less than one dead. When Decaya and Aslia arrived, the demons organized a new offensive. The mountain elves were all mobilized, ready to die with the demons. Decaya shot. The astrology and wood spells were cast once each, and more than 50,000 demons were wiped out. The mountain elves were stunned. Their information is so lag behind. The Supreme and Top Elves have appeared in the outside world. When Aslia, the Mother of Dragons, took action and killed the remaining 50,000 demons with one mouthful of dragon breath, the Alpine Elves were completely subdued. Good guy, Sanctuary. The battle was over and the two sides had a brief meeting. The Alpine Elves were surprised to find that Helena and Eve, who had only been at the gold level when they left the tribe, have actually been promoted to the star level. What kind of upgrade speed is this? It's outrageous. Not only that, but also mastered the inheritance of the great magic pattern master and potion master. These two are S-class occupations. The patriarch of the Alpine Elves, Onions, the top powerhouse of Xinyao, was messy in the wind, and subconsciously stretched out his hand and stroked his beard. The changing times are really surprising. Patriarch O'Neill, come with us. Helena stepped forward and said calmly, this place is no longer suitable for living. The demonic offensive continues, and sooner or later it will fall. Helena looked up this time. When she was in the tribe, she was scolded a lot by O'Neil. Of course, the main reason is that Helena drugged the Alpine Elf Patriarch when she was okay, and wanted to see if she could turn this star-level powerhouse over. Helena was able to live to this day without being slapped to death, which is already considered a good-natured by O'Neil. As the head of the clan, O'Neill was naturally unable to make decisions arbitrarily. But he also knew that what Helena said was the truth. After thinking for a moment, O'Neill decided to take the initiative, and took the clan to embark on a journey and leave here. The main reason for O'Neill to make this decision was actually Dekaya's words. As the queen of the wood elves, Dekaya had known Orneans, and for a long time. Long before Dekaya became the queen of wood elves, Onions was already the patriarch of the mountain elves. However, as time passed, Dekaya had grown into a supreme and top-level powerhouse, and O'Neill was still a top star, which was embarrassing. And Onions knows Dekaya's astrologer profession and the predictive ability of astrology. So when Dekaya said that the savior had been found and that there was a spring of life in the wood elf territory, which could revive the victims, Onions resolutely followed and prepared to go to the wood elf territory with his family. And for ordinary alpine elves, this is also the best result. They couldn't take it anymore. Bringing the corpse of the new victim, everyone arrived at the island where they came, teleported all the way, and returned to the wood elf territory. After consuming the spring of life, all the sacrificed mountain elves were resurrected. O'Neill did not hesitate and immediately chose to join Subei's command. This is a smart move. Subei naturally took all the bills. This is an alpine elf that is on the same level as the wood elf, and its strength is very strong. After fixing the entry, O'Neill was promoted to the supreme top, stepping into the ranks of the top powerhouses. Ask for flowers. The next step is to start hitting the sanctuary level like everyone else. The other alpine elves also improved. Suddenly, there were more than a dozen supreme level powerhouses under Subei's command, over 100 star powerhouses, over 3,000 diamond level powerhouses, and all the rest were platinum level. This is the background of the alpine elves, and it is also the reason why they can persist until now. Seeing the changes in the tribe, Onions became more and more convinced that Subei was the savior in the prophecy. The strength of Subei's sign increased greatly, making the Abyss Demon furious. Not only did they fail to regain the law of omniscience that they lost, the thief was still improving his strength. If this goes on, when his rank continues to rise and he further develops the ability to integrate the law of omniscience, they will not want to take it back. This kind of thing is something the Abyss Demon God doesn't want to see. The offensive must be stepped up. After a period of preparation, after the third settlement of the demon slaughtering list, the Abyss Passage was widened again. The Supreme Demon has come to the island world. 3 huge demon lords like hills landed on the edge of the super island. Around them, there are hundreds of star-level demons. Further out, there is a whole 200,000 demon army. There are no silver and gold level cannon fodder here, all are elite demons with the lowest platinum level. However, the expressions of the 3 demon lords did not relax at all. Instead they kept swearing in their hearts. They are the supreme class, capable of destroying the terrifying existence of the island world. Everyone in the Abyss has their own territory and can call themselves a lord. But in this wood elf pirate, they felt a mortal threat. There are also supreme grades here, and even sanctuary grades. The 3 demon lords looked at each other and roared. Many supreme level powerhouses were dispatched at the same time to surround the 3 demon lords. It's a hammer. Such a strong offensive, naturally, cannot be defended alone. The fortress couldn't stand it, so it was necessary to take the initiative to attack and lock the battle area in front of the fortress. Those shameful Abyss Demon gods can't come by themselves, let them come to die. The demon army under his command charged at full speed and headed towards the fortress. The fight begins. Dki, Claudia, Eudora, Jerome, Zacharias. Chapter 381 The Pool of Sins. The 3 demon lords knew that they were just here to explore the way. Test what restrictions the supreme demon will be subjected to when passing through the Abyss Passage. The Abyss demons didn't expect them to conquer the island either. But here's the problem. The 3 demon lords didn't want to give it for nothing. There are so many supreme grades in the Abyss. Why did they come to test? In fact, the deep reason, the demon lord also knows. Isn't it because they didn't pay allegiance to the Abyss Demon God and chose to develop independently? Usually, it is easy to say that the Abyss Demon God is too lazy to pay attention to them. But now is the critical moment to attack the island world. and outsiders like them become cannon fodder at once. Even the Supreme Demon Lord cannot escape the fate of dying. When they were besieged by more than a dozen supreme-level powerhouses such as Takaya, the anger of the three demon lords could no longer be suppressed. The meteorite with the dark green flame 827 fell from the sky and hit the ground, leaving a crater dozens of meters deep. Afterwards, Hellfire climbed out of the deep hole and charged desperately towards Takaya and his party. These Hellfires are all-star level and should not be underestimated. But in front of the Supreme class, it is not worth mentioning. Takaya raised her hand and threw out the surging galaxy. The charging Hellfire extinguished on the spot, disintegrated into gravel, and rolled back into the deep pit. And the Star River Surge is a high-level skill of the Astro Master, obviously more than that. After killing dozens of Hellfires, castrated unabated, knocking down the Demon Lord who unleashed his skills. The thick armor was smashed, and the dark green blood of the Demon Lord splashed and fell on the ground, immediately making the soil there lose its vitality. Dkaya's eyebrows stood upright. Dare to hurt their homes, damn it. But the one who moved faster than Dkaya was Eudora. The Naga Queen, with a fierce light in her eyes, let out a low drink. The land of my lord shall not be desecrated. 35 Raising your hand is the thundercloud storm, covering the Demon Lord. At the same time, supplement the water system skills to further suppress. When the magical power fluctuations subsided, the hapless Demon Lord has lost his former appearance, and only a broken skeleton remains. The flesh and blood pieces were absorbed by the World Tree and floated in the air, avoiding further pollution of the land. Sube watched the battle from afar. The Eye of Omniscience was activated and saw the Demon Lord's soul fly out of his body, wanting to return to the Abyss Passage. At the same time, the fluctuations of the Demon Lord's soul were also clearly transmitted to Sube's mind. As long as I can return to the Abyss, as long as I can return to the pool of sin, I can be resurrected. With obsession, the soul of the Demon Lord quickly headed to the Abyss Passage. But before he was about to arrive, Sube appeared halfway, with a smile on his face. Want to go? It's not that easy. Sube stretched out his hand and pulled out the Demon Lord's soul from the void, holding it in the palm of his hand to observe. He is very interested in the pool of sins. The soul of the Demon Lord exudes menacing waves. Mortal, let me go, or you will die. 55 Zube is completely ignorant of this feeble call or threat. When you speak ruthlessly, please put away the fearful fluctuations, and don't appear strong in the outside. The omniscient eye begins to analyze with all its strength. In the Demon Lord's soul, Sube found records about the pool of sins. Its core effect is very simple, with only one effect. That is the resurrection of the devil. However, there is a prerequisite, that is, the devil's soul must remain intact and be able to return to the pool of sin by itself, otherwise there is no way to resurrect. And even if you arrive at the pool of sins, if you want to ensure the integrity of the memory after resurrection, the minimum is the supreme level. Anything below this level will experience memory loss. In addition, no matter what rank was in life, the rank will start from the beginning after resurrection. However, if he can retain his memory, he will soon be able to retrieve his lost power, which is an advantage over other newborn demons. And this is also the main reason why the Demon Lord is not afraid of death. They can return to the pool of sins by special means and gain a new life. For the three Demon Lords, they died in battle following the will of the Abyss Demon God. After resurrection, you will receive the blessing of the Abyss, and even have further possibilities. Sanctuary level can also be counted on. However, the risk is very high, and it is easy to roll over if you are not careful. This is also the reason why the Demon Lord is unwilling to come to the island world. No matter how attractive the promotion to the sanctuary level is, one has to live to enjoy it. The resurrection is full of uncertainty, and who knows what will happen. However, the three of them were chosen by the Abyss Demon God. If you don't come, there is only a dead end. Don't even think about the pool of sins. Their souls cannot escape the control of the Abyss Devil. But now, the Demon Lord has discovered something terrifying. This human being was able to intercept a special passage and pull his soul out of the void. This is the only means of the Abyss Demon God. and it actually appears on a star-level human being. Is this reasonable? In a trance, the demon lord suddenly knew why the abyss demon god sent them here. Testing the abyss passage is false, but testing the ability of this human is true. But it's too late to know this. Just now, when Subei's all-seeing eye was activated to search for information with all his strength, it caused indelible damage to the demon lord's soul. The transparent soul body can no longer maintain the whole, disintegrating and shattering. At the same time, the other two demon lords were also killed by Decay and others. Their souls merged into the void and wanted to return to the pool of sins. Then he was caught by Subei and found out more information about the abyss. Among them is the abyss demon god. This investigation made Subei speechless. There are actually 72 demon gods in the abyss. Subei wanted to scold the street. Now the island world is not even a demigod, let alone a demigod. At least it hasn't happened so far. Even at the sanctuary level, there is only a sanctuary subordinate. This kind of strength, how to fight against the abyss? If the abyss passage has not been opened to the maximum, let alone the abyss devil. The demigod level demons under their command alone are enough to blow up the entire island world. 2.5 Spectrum away. Subei secretly complained. Immediately calm down. There is still a chance. Time is the key. Subei's eyes turned to the sky. The abyss's offensive is in full swing, and the pressure continues to increase. The Supreme Demon Lord has appeared. So, how to deal with the will of the island world? In this war, Subei is not fighting alone. He has a most trusted ally. Island world will. It may be imprecise to say that they are allies, but in the end they have a common enemy. If the will of the island world does not want to be wiped out by the abyss, then a new incentive plan must be given. In the face of the Supreme Demon Lord, the regular island owner and the aborigines, there is no resistance at all. The entire island world needs a way to quickly upgrade. Chapter 382 Lift the blockade, rank promotion. How the island world will respond, Subei can't decide. All he can do is to stabilize his own territory. Glancing at the demon slaughtering list. As expected, the top 100 island owners lost more than 20 names. This shows that in other places, there are also demon lords descending. With the destructive power of the Supreme Demon Lord, even if there is only one, it is enough to defeat all the aborigines and island owners in a radius of thousands of miles. Taking a step back, in fact, there is no need for a supreme-level demon lord. Just the number of star-level demons that have exploded this time can make all the forces in the island world complain. However, Subei's side is as stable as ever. After the three supreme demon lords were besieged and killed, the rest of the battle was unhindered. Decay and the others threw 2 skills into the demon pile at random, smashing the 200,000 army to pieces. If it weren't to leave some nourishment for the world tree, the demon wouldn't even be able to leave half a piece of minced meat. The corpse of the demon lord was transported to the root of the world tree. The world tree showed a longing mood, motivated the roots, plunge into the flesh and blood of the demon lord, and began to absorb 17. To be honest, Subei seriously doubts that this thing can be called a world tree. In his impression, the world tree should represent natural peace, so why is he more active than anyone in eating meat now? However, in the vision of the omniscient eye, Subei found that after the power contained in the demon's flesh and blood was absorbed by the world tree, part of it was used to catalyze its own growth. The other part was passed on to the heart of the old world tree under the wood elf palace. Then, the wood cocoon around the heart of the tree began to vibrate and shatter. New wood elves are born. Decay, who was chasing the demon, decisively threw off the enemy and flew back to their palace. There are more than 50 new wood elves, and their breath is still very weak. But in Decay's eyes, this represents the hope of the wood elves. Subei walked slowly to check the situation of these wood elves. It's perfect, without any hidden diseases or congenital defects. Decay wiped the tears from the corners of her eyes and said, "Thank you for everything you have done for our family." Subei waved his hand and said with a smile, "My own person, if you say this, you will be seen outside." While speaking, the wood elf in his heart stabilized and greeted Subei, "See my lord." 99 Whether it is the heart of the old world tree or the new world tree on the main island, There are fixed entries. Even these new wood elves are naturally loyal to Subei. And they are actually stronger than the existing wood elves. All parameters are basically in perfect condition. Specifically, the upgrade is faster, and the same level has a stronger combat performance. On a certain level, these 50-odd elves can no longer be called wood elves, they can be regarded as evolutionary elves. But this is not the point, just treat it as a wood elves. After all, it was born from the world tree. The newly born wood elves were escorted to the core area of the main island. They will grow here, wait until they are completely stabilized, and then fix the entry. Now it is still necessary to observe first to see what are the peculiarities of these newborn wood elves. The birth of the wood elves can only be regarded as an unexpected joy. But for the overall situation, there is not a good gain. After all, even if these 50 or so wood elves are all promoted to the sanctuary level, they can only give it for nothing when facing the abyss demon god. Upgrading has become what Subei is most concerned about now. And this is also the wish of all the aborigines and island owners in the island world. Relying on the previous conversion device alone cannot effectively solve the problem. While thinking about it, Subei found that the rank boundaries were loosening. It's not a big prayer, and he's not absorbing extra energy. It took more time to complete the promotion to the supreme rank, but now it is within reach. The all-seeing eye was activated, and Subei saw the reason. The island world is releasing restrictions and no longer suppressing level upgrades. The previous conversation with Astlia, the mother of dragons, let Subei know a fact. That is, the will of the island world is suppressing the upgrading of the aborigines and human island owners. Prevent new gods from appearing, thus triggering a new round of god wars. This is also the reason why the powerhouses of all ethnic groups in the past were basically only at the star level. There is only one dragon mother who is normally promoted to the supreme level. The powerhouse ranks under Subei's command are all stacked by 4 high-grade entries. But now, there is a turning point. Obviously, the appearance of the Supreme Demon Lord made the island world will perceive the urgency of the problem. The world shackles imposed on the strong are being removed. How to say it's a little late, but it's better than nothing. While thinking about it, the magic power in DKI's body began to agitate and boil. After the restrictions were weakened, she, the Supreme Top, began to hit the sanctuary level. At the same time, like Zacharias and several other dragon kings, their auras were also rising, and they also began to try to attack the sanctuary level. If it succeeds, Subei will have at least 5 more sanctuaries in an instant. This is a huge increase in combat power. In addition to the supreme top level DKI and others, such as the supreme level Claudia, Eudora, and Jerome, who have been promoted to the supreme top level. After a period of accumulation, they will also have the ability to impact the sanctuary level. Because the number of powerhouses who have been promoted is too large, the concentration of spiritual energy in the territory has even decreased. You must know that more than a dozen mouthfuls of the spring of spiritual energy spit out day and night, and have already accumulated a very considerable amount of spiritual energy. But it still can't resist the promotion consumption of the powerhouses. Seeing this situation, Subei decided to send someone to fetch the Reiki spring water. 827 directly supplements energy consumption by drinking. Only in this way can the gap be met. Anyway, the fountain of spiritual energy will continue to be generated, so there is no need to worry about depletion. Boom. There seemed to be a magical explosion in the ear. DKI took the lead in completing the promotion and became the second sanctuary level powerhouse under Subei. Subsequently, the top dragon races such as Zacharias were also promoted one after another. In just a moment, there were 5 more sanctuary level powerhouses. Such an increase in strength made Subei extremely happy. A person's strength is ultimately limited. Overall improvement is the foundation of winning this war. The powerhouses on Subei's side are constantly breaking through and advancing, and the same is true elsewhere. Of course, no matter how other rankings change, what remains the same is Subei's top spot. But in line with the principle of making a fortune in silence, everyone remained silent. Compared with the island owners of other forces, the island owner of the Dragon Kingdom is much more low-key. The chat area has already exploded, and the island owners are showing off how many power users under their command have been promoted, and their defensive strength is stronger. But the numbers don't lie. Especially the special team. With the initial release of the level restrictions in the island world, the number of kills by many Longo Island masters skyrocketed, and they rushed to the top 100 on the demon slaying list. They also have abilities who are promoted, and under the blessing of the magic pattern, the increase is even greater. There is absolutely no possibility of shaking. Chapter 383 The Merit Store opens. Broken Artifact. The appearance of the Supreme Demon Lord indicates that the confrontation between the island world and the abyss has evolved into a new stage. And the existence of the Pool of Sin and the 7 tied to abyss demons also let Subei know that with the passage of time, the scale of victory will fall to the abyss completely. At least according to the current situation, this is beyond doubt. Even if the island world will lift the blockade of the strong, allowing them to gain an upgrade in rank. This can only lead to local battlefield victory. In fact, the impact on the overall situation is not large. The weakness of the island world has already accumulated some hardships. No matter how many sanctuary level powerhouses there are, it is useless. In the face of the demigod level and even the abyss demon god, it is still free. What's more, in the entire island world, the sanctuary level is probably gathered under Subei's command, and the supreme level in other places is considered to be profound. In this case, how to fight. Seriously, Subei understood very well those island owners who took refuge in the abyss, as well as the dark race. The situation has evolved to this point, and the effect of personal will is minimal. Unless there is a bigger turnaround. For example, the island world will take out the laws and godheads that it reclaims. Not just as the final reward for world quests. That's just too far away. As far as Subei feels, there is nothing to look forward to. It is estimated that when he himself is promoted to the demigod level or even a god, the task of this world will not be completed. Even Subei thought so, not to mention others. In the chat area now, pessimism spreads among the island owners. Even if it will be blocked by the island world, it will lose various permissions, and it will be marked as a magic island, revealing its location. But there are still island owners who choose to take refuge in the devil and accept the transformation. Their island locations will be marked. But it doesn't matter. How about becoming less human? Taking refuge in the devil can at least survive for a while, and fighting to the end. There is only one dead end. In the 3 days after the Supreme Demon Lord appeared, at least 5,000 senior island lords fell into the abyss and were transformed into demons. And the powers under their command range from a few thousand to as many as 20 or 30,000. They are also voluntarily or forced to undergo transformation and become a new generation of demons. Now that the abyss passage is open, the descending ceremony is no longer needed. But you can get some demon power by drinking demon blood. The price is to become manic and chaotic, and it is difficult to keep sane. The appearance changes, the complexion turns dark red, and horny spikes grow on the body. Moreover, the power is one level worse than that of a pure devil or a demon. But the success rate is high. As long as the physique is not too weak, the transformation can be completed. In this way, the devil can easily pull up an army with a scale of tens of millions and close to 100 million. Even though it is scattered all over the island world, it still poses a deadly threat to the aborigines and island owners. Subei has been attacked several times. After the 3 demon lords died in his hands, the new demon lord did not dare to land directly in the Wood Elves' territory. Instead, they established forward bases on the surrounding islands to prepare for a war of attrition. The demon built a teleportation circle, gathered the demons from other places, gathered as much as 500,000 in one breath, and attacked from multiple directions at the same time. In this battle, 30 war fortresses of the devil were dispatched. There are as many as 10 supreme demon lords. Such an offensive, placed elsewhere, is even enough to destroy half of the island world. But when they attacked the Wood Elf defense line, they suffered a head-on blow. Now the number of supreme-level powerhouses under Subei's command has decreased. Correspondingly, the number of sanctuaries has increased. The Supreme Demon Lord just appeared, and even the people in the war fortress were beaten into splendid fireworks. Subei repeated his old tricks, plucking out the souls of these demon lords from the void, crushing them, and giving them to the world tree as nourishment. With such a big supplement, the world tree has directly reached a height of 100 meters, and the diameter of the canopy is more than 300 meters, which can be said to cover the sky and the sun. And here, it has also become the main attack target of the devil. Because with the growth of the world tree, his attraction to demon souls is even stronger. The soul of a demon lord can still escape and try to return to the abyss. But as long as it is lower than the supreme level, then even star-level demons, their souls will be absorbed and swallowed by the world tree and become a source of growth. By the way, it will accelerate the birth of new wood elves. This also caused a problem. No demon souls return to the pool of sin, and the number of newly born demons is greatly reduced. The abyss devil must not sit idly by. This is breaking the foundation of the abyss. The world tree must be destroyed. So there was a spectacular sight of 10 demon lords attacking at the same time and then hitting the road together. The 500,000 demon army was wiped out, making Subei's kill count officially surpass 2 million. It's a pity that if you want to get a new round of rewards, you need 5 million kills, which is a bit far. However, increasing the number of kills by 500,000 still made other island owners dazzled. They were beaten so loudly that Subei killed 500,000 demons in 1 hour. Of course there are demons. But so what? Demons are not pigs, and they are also lethal. Taking a step back, even 500,000 pigs would be very laborious to kill. As a result, the army of 500,000 demons was wiped out after only 1 hour. Outrageous. But for other island owners, no matter how many enemies Subei kills, it can't change their situation, so they just marveled for a while, and the topic is over. The premise of watching the fun is that you are in a safe environment. The island is about to be razed by the devil, and the liveliness of a hammer is also watched. Fortunately, the island owners will soon have a new topic. That's the opening of the merit store. The exchange ratio between merit points and kills is 1:1. If you increase the number of kills, you will automatically get 1 merit point. Using merit points will not consume the number of kills and will not affect the ranking of the demon killing list. There are many items that can be exchanged in the merit shop. Not to mention conventional equipment and potions. There is even a professional heritage. But the highest is only S rank, and they are all combat occupations. Not to mention the inheritance of Subei's SSS level demon slayer. Even the others great magic tattoo masters and potion masters would not have to buy them. Of course, for ordinary island owners, the S-level combat profession is already very powerful. In addition, to say the most attractive is the broken artifact. That's right, it's an artifact. The weapons used by the gods in the Battle of the Gods. Thousands of gods have lost too many gods, and their godheads and laws have been recovered by the island world. Their weapons, of course, are no exception. Money is good. It's just that the battle of the gods was too fierce, and the artifacts were more or less damaged. Subei had been in touch before. The Poseidon Hornet was almost blown up. It hasn't been fully repaired yet. The artifact that can be exchanged in the merit store opened this time is in a damaged state. At this point, in addition to the regular settlement and stage rewards of the demon slaying list, Island World will release the third big move. If there is a semi-artifact or even an artifact, it will obviously be easier to fight against demons. But even the cheapest and most damaged semi-artifacts cost as much as 5 million merit points. As for the broken artifact, the minimum is calculated in billions. Subei browses the merit store and looks straight at Hanako. With his current 2 million merit points, he couldn't even afford a broken half artifact. But after complaining, Subei ignited infinite fighting spirit. The artifact is there, and the price has been determined. What else is there to say? Kill the demons and empty the merit shop. Chapter 384, Modify the Abyss Passage, Space Funnel. According to Subei's calculations, it would take 1 billion merit points to buy all 100 demigods. The main reason is that there are a few semi-artifacts in good condition, and the price exceeds 20 million merit points. A merit point represents a demon or a devil. Subei has only killed 2 million merit points until now, which is not a small distance from the lowest semi-artifact. But having said that, the island world will open the merit store. In fact, It mainly sells equipment, potions and professional inheritance. Semi-artifacts and artifacts, more of a symbolic meaning, urge the island owners to work hard to kill the enemy. Island World wants to let the island owners know that as long as you dare to kill, he will reward you. It just takes so much effort. After discussing the broken artifact for a while, most island owners began to choose to exchange rewards. They were not like Subei, who set their sights directly on demigods and artifacts. Turning back, those equipment potions corresponding to dozens and hundreds of merit points are more suitable for them. Even the second-ranked Dragon Country Islander is more considering using high-level occupational inheritance to improve his strength. As for the demigods, he didn't even have 500,000 merit points, let alone 5 million. If you insist on exchanging it, I am afraid that you have not saved enough, and the island has already been invaded by the devil, and the ashes have been lifted. In fact, only Subei is actually coveting the broken artifact 830. He not only dares to think, but also has the ability. However, sticking to the Wood Elf territory could not meet his demands. While the others were sweeping the battlefield, Subei looked up at the sky. The reason why his kill count didn't increase explosively was mainly because the demons didn't dare to come. The Abyss Passage traverses the entire sky, and there are too many areas to land on. Even in the Abyss Passage above the island, the demons who come over can wave their wings and fly away from this land of death. Subei wants to quickly increase the number of kills, in addition to sending his strong men out to fight on his behalf. The most effective way is actually to increase the number of demons attacking. As long as the demons keep attacking here, the number of kills will increase infinitely. As for the risk, it is negligible compared to the benefit. Achieving this is somewhat difficult. But there is room for action. Here is to praise the power of the law of omniscience. By analyzing the laws of space around the Abyss Passage and with the help of the all-seeing eye, Subei successfully found a way to realize the idea. That is to modify the Abyss Passage, so that part of the exit becomes a one-way passage, until the territory of the Wood Elves. To put it simply, BHCF, it means that the devil who enters this area can only land down, but cannot leave by flapping his wings. There is a certain randomness in the passage of demons through the abyss. Even if they don't want to, they will come to the Wood Elves' territory. If the space here becomes a one-way passage, their whereabouts will be dead. Only move forward. Subei looked around the super island and selected the demon landing area. Just in front of the newly built fortress. The devil's location is fixed, which can also reduce the pressure on the defending troops. The powerhouses take turns to sit in the town to ensure that the line of defense is foolproof. After determining the plan, Subei issued an order and began to mobilize troops to station. Newly crafted weapons and equipment were also transported to the fort there, turning it into a fortress of war. Just by looking at the dents muzzled, you can see how strong the firepower is here. While the preparations were going on, Subei began to modify the space laws of the Abyss Passage. This work was assisted by Island World. It took 3 days before and after, and a funnel-shaped space trajectory finally appeared in the Abyss Passage. The fortress defense on the ground was also completed, and the defenders were ready to fight. The first strong man to sit in the fortress was Dekaya, who was successfully promoted to the sanctuary level. Boom. The demonic energy was turbulent, and in the Abyss Passage, countless demon figures appeared again. However, without exception, they all chose to stay away from the Wood Elves' territory. Prepare to find a place to stay first, and then attack after gathering enough troops. But this time, the demons were horrified to find that their forward direction was out of control, and they rushed straight towards the Wood Elf territory. More than 100,000 demons were captured by the space funnel constructed by Subei and fell to the ground involuntarily. Among them, there are many supreme-level demon lords. The demon's roar floated in the air. The anger contained in it can be heard dozens of miles away. But behind the anger, there is unconcealed anxiety and panic. They had already seen the scene on the ground, and they didn't say anything about the vast extermination cannons. There are as many as 5 in the Supreme Breath alone. First, it has reached the sanctuary level. On the ground, Dekaya's eyes burned with fighting spirit, and attacked the demon in the air. Sanctuary level magic is unmatched. More than 10,000 demons in the central area were directly evaporated, and there was no residue left. The torrent of magic power swept all around, and the aftermath killed nearly 10,000 demons. 1/5 of the 100,000 demons were emptied by 2 skills before they landed. This is the sanctuary level. While Subei is happy, he is also more and more afraid of the abyss. There must be sanctuary level demons in the abyss. After all, there are even 72 demon gods in the abyss. This is still on the surface. The number of hidden demon gods is unknown, and there are also demigods. The number is unimaginable. Subei's thoughts were flying, and the idea of evacuating the meritorious store became more determined. He has a bold idea. If those broken demigods are repaired to a complete state, will they be able to reproduce the power of demigods? If he can do it, does it mean that he can reshape the demigods? 100 broken demigods in the merit store came from 100 fallen demigods. If the power of the demigods is reproduced, it means that there will be 100 more demigods under Subei. This is very exaggerated power. Even if the abyss passage opens to a new stage and a demigod level demon appears, he still has the power to fight. The most important is if the demigod can reshape successfully, then the broken artifact can also be tried. Extract the divine power inside, reignite the corresponding divine fire, and recreate the gods. This is Subei's plan. Evacuate demi artifacts and artifacts from the merit shop. Just the basics. The ultimate goal is the law and Godhead. With the help of the deduction ability of the law of omniscience, Subei can already determine his plan will come true. While thinking about it, the first 100,000 demon army that landed was completely wiped out under the siege of many powerhouses. The logistics force was dispatched quickly to recycle the demon corpse. The logistics force has just withdrawn, and new demons have already begun to land. Another 100,000, Subei estimated. Judging from the current progress, it can increase the number of kills by 500,000 a day. In another week, he will be able to exchange the first broken demi artifact and start his plan. Once the power of the demigods is mastered, it will completely change the situation of the battle. At that time, he can open up more space funnels and annihilate more demons. This speeds up the accumulation of kills. Evacuate 100 semi-artifacts, just around the corner. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 385. The number of kills exceeded 5 million. God building plan. In addition to the 100 semi-artifacts in the merit store, there are also 30 broken artifacts. What makes Subei more concerned is the list on the last page. Not unlocked yet. As the number 1 on the demon slaying list, he killed more than 2 million demons and mastered the law of omniscience, yet he was unable to open the exchange list on the last page. Subei wanted to know what was inside that made the island world cover up so tightly. After thinking for a long time, Subei gradually came up with ideas. If you guessed correctly, the exchange items on the last page are very likely to be godheads. And it's complete. That represents a whole set of ways to become a god. Starting from mastering the basic laws, to igniting the divine fire, condensing the divine personality, and exalting the kingdom of God. That is the power from the fallen gods, the path they have traveled. Walking along the road ahead is naturally more effective. The reason why it is not unlocked is that the horror of the island world still has concerns. After all, the Abyss Passage has only been opened until the arrival of the Supreme Demon Lord. Even the Sanctuary level did not appear, and now the exchange of godheads is open, which does not conform to the style of the island world. The reason for this is that the 10,000 years battle of gods caused too much damage to the island world. Let him almost appear persecutory paranoia. Subei is very calm. He knew that the demon god of the abyss would come eventually. When the demigod level demon appears, even if the island world is reluctant, it must open up the exchange of godheads. At that time, it was Subei's chance. Subei must not only master the power of demigods and artifacts, but also bring all the original gods under his command. Of course, it must not be the original gods, but the people he selected. For example, Du Ling, Juan Menayu, Yvette, Winnie, Claudia and Achaia. These close people are obviously the best choice for God. Sube called it the God creation plan. Calm down, Sube is ready to work harder. Now the space funnel above the Wood Elves territory can attract at least 500,000 to 600,000 demons to land every day. They are mortal. There is no doubt about this. But it's not enough. This kind of killing efficiency is far from enough. At least grow to the million level. As for whether the abyss will be bald, Sube feels that there is no need to worry. The abyss is a vast area comparable to the island world, and the number of demons in it exceeds hundreds of millions. What has come now is only a drop in the bucket. And because of the existence of the pool of sins, most of the souls of the demons who died in the island world can return to the abyss and give birth to new demons. After fighting and growing, he once again became the vanguard of attacking the island world. Theoretically speaking, as long as the pool of sin exists, the demons will never be killed. Unless the demon dies within the scope of the world tree, the soul cannot escape. This is also the reason why the Abyss Demon God gave priority to destroying the world tree in the last battle of gods. They are also afraid of death. Thinking of this, Sube glanced at the world tree. I found that this guy has grown a lot taller. Hundreds of thousands of demons were slaughtered, and the improvement effect on him was very significant. If it is judged by rank, the current world tree already has the strength of the star level. And his sheltering effect on the entire island is also becoming more and more powerful. It even led to the transfer of all the Wood Elves. The Wood Elves have all changed jobs to become guardians of the divine tree, and their attacks have a unique purification effect, which has a miraculous effect on demons. Measured in terms of grade, the guardian of the divine tree is an S-class professional inheritance, and it is very powerful. This is also a kind of surprise. After all, in the merit store, the exchange price for S-class occupation inheritance is as high as 10,000 merit points. And it's a one-time job transfer. More than 5,000 Wood Elves have been transferred to become guards of the divine tree, which is equivalent to 50 million merit points for Sube's prostitution. The S-rank divine tree guards are a few points stronger than the A-rank Templars. However, Templars can be trained in batches. And the guardian of the divine tree can only be transformed from Wood Elves, which is an innate limitation, and there is no way to expand a lot. Both sides have their pros and cons. Sube must have continued to train Templars. After all, this is also an A-level professional inheritance, and it sells for 5,000 in the merit store. At present, the training camp can train 30,000 Templars each time, which is equivalent to more than 100 million contribution points for whoring for nothing, and it must not be missed. At the same time as the dull development, the semi-monthly big prayer is also carried out as scheduled. This time, the surging power of faith has made Sube successfully promoted to the supreme level. When the blockade was lifted a few days ago, he showed signs of promotion, and now it's just a matter of course, no difficulty. To be promoted to the supreme level, in addition to bringing dozens of times the attribute improvement. The biggest change is that Sube's mastery of the law of omniscience is more diligent. Sube was not idle either, and united with the island world again to create a second space hourglass to speed up the collection of demons. The demon was beaten up and screamed. Those demons who were not in the hourglass of space, with the rejoicing of the rest of their lives on their faces, slipped away. They will go to other places to harm them, and they will never go to the Wood Elves territory. The 2 space hourglasses can attract nearly 1 million demons every day. Sube's kill count has also skyrocketed, and has quietly surpassed 5 million. Your total kills have reached 5 million, and you will get a demigod level treasure chest. The number of kills exceeded 5 million, which also means that Sube's contribution points have accumulated to 5 million, which can be exchanged for the first broken half artifact. But before that, open the treasure box sent by the island world. A demigod level treasure chest. If you don't give a demigod weapon, you can't justify it. The sanctuary level omniscient orb was strengthened by him into the embodiment of omniscient law. The semi-artifact has been strengthened by 4 entries, and at least it can become an artifact. It may be a little difficult to directly become a godhead. Concentrating his mind, Subei opened the treasure chest. Inside is a scepter, more than half a meter long, made of wood as a whole. 0 or twig. Natural scepter, a semi-artifact, polished from the branches of the world, containing some natural laws. The moment he saw this scepter, Subei knew who to give it to. Dkiya. She is the best candidate. But before handing it over, Subei put the scepter in the palm of his hand and observed it carefully. The all-seeing eye works with all its strength, analyzing the laws of nature in the scepter. Since he wants to be omniscient and omnipotent, he must learn from other strengths and understand all kinds of power. The laws of nature are no exception. Along with parsing, Subei found a problem. If he strengthens the natural scepter, it will cause Dkiya to be unable to absorb the power inside, because the level is too high. Sanctuary level Dkiya can't bear the infusion of divine power. Normally, the sanctuary level powerhouses start by analyzing and grasping the laws, and then form their own understandings, turn them into power, and prepare for igniting the divine fire. Now there are some natural laws in the natural scepter, which is suitable for Dkiya to absorb. When she has mastered it completely, and at the same time reaches the top level of the sanctuary, she can try to ignite the divine fire to condense the divine position and become a demigod. Strengthening the natural scepter and directing the destruction of the rhythm is not beautiful. With this in mind, Subei decisively called Dkiya, handed her the scepter of nature directly, and instructed, "Take a good sense of the power inside, and leave the fortress to others." As soon as Dkiya took the scepter, she sensed the terrifying power that made her tremble. When I got used to it, I was so shocked that I was speechless. Demigod. This, such a precious thing, what can she do with it? Chapter 386. Semi-artifact, the veil of the goddess of the night. My lord, this is too precious for me to accept. Although Dkiya is a close person, she is very clear about priority and knows what to say in any situation. For example, at this time, Subei gave her the scepter of nature, which was a kind of gift. It is not suitable to use intimate words in private. The title of our Lord represents the position and position. Of course, Subei doesn't care about these titles. But Dkiya and the others insisted, and he just let it go. Anyway, it's just a name, and it doesn't affect the feelings between them. At this time, Dkiya declined the scepter of nature, and Subei knew what she meant. Dkiya felt that only Subei was qualified to keep such a weapon. Although she is at the sanctuary level, she cannot be arrogant. However, Subei didn't care about this, took Dkiya's slender hand, put the scepter of nature in her palm, and said, "Don't worry, I have already mastered the power contained in the scepter. This is the truth. With the eye of omniscience, Subei has mastered the laws of nature in the scepter of nature. No difficulty. Dkiya was lost in thought. When the natural scepter appeared, she sensed the breath. After all, this is a semi-artifact, and the breath is completely different, like the bright moon in the dark night, which makes people unable to ignore. As a result, in just a quarter of an hour, Subei told her that he had mastered the power of the law contained in it. As a sanctuary, Dkiya is also trying to get in touch with the law in her spare time. But with little success. Several other sanctuaries, including the mother of dragons Astlia, and the infernal dragons Icarias, as well as several other dragon kings, actually have this trouble. It is very difficult to master the rules. As a result, this perception has now been broken. A quarter of an hour to master the power of a demi-artifact. If not foreseen it with her own eyes, Dkiya would not have dared to think about it. But in addition to being shocked, Dkiya felt happy for Subei again, and congratulated, "My lord's strength has improved again." 39. Subei smiled and said, "So you all have to follow along. The natural scepter is just the beginning. I will exchange for another semi-artifact soon. After repairing it, I will find someone to master it." Dkiya was shocked. "My lord's expectation, is it?" Subei nodded and took over. "Yes, I want to reshape the gods." Hiss. Dkiya was speechless. But from this, Dkiya also knew that Subei really couldn't use the scepter of nature. In other words, the scepter of nature is not worthy of him. Restraining her mind, Decaya held the scepter of nature and said, "If that's the case, then I'll accept it." Sube smiled and said, "Take it." Decaya held the scepter and resigned. She is going to go under the world tree on the main island and master the laws of nature in the scepter. At the same time, it is complemented by the gift of the world tree. The process may be long, but on the main island, she will be undisturbed. When Decaya completely masters the natural scepter, Sube will fix the entry for the scepter, strengthen it, and evolve to the next stage. However, this will take time, and what we have to do now is to exchange the demi artifact. Sube already had a plan. He took a fancy to a broken half artifact with a prize of 6 million merit points, the Veil of the Evernight Goddess. The Evernight Goddess is a god who controls the dark elements, and unfortunately died in the early days of the Battle of Gods. His veil was also recovered by the island world and became a broken demigod. The reason why Sube chose to exchange this 6 million merit points instead of the other 5 million semi-artifacts was mainly because of the law attribute. The Veil of the Goddess of the Night can be given to Dueling, which happens to be the same dark attribute. Dueling, as the earliest veteran to follow Sube, is worthy of this semi-artifact. Anyway, Sube wants to empty all the semi-artifacts, and the exchange order doesn't matter much. After thinking about it, the number of kills was enough to 6 million, and Sube decided to exchange it. Island owner Sube, you have consumed 6 million merit points to get the Veil of the Evernight Goddess. At the same time, all the island owners were surprised to discover that there were only 99 broken semi-artifacts left in the merit store. Needless to say, definitely redeemed by Sube. After all, only he has so many merit points. Lighthouse Kingdom, Matthew. God is above, why is that Dragon Kingdom? Bangtsai Kingdom Parkla, I have always believed in one truth, Sube is our lost compatriot. Kingdom of Fusemaru. How can it be repaired? The semi-artifacts are all of our fuse. Dragon Kingdom, Jiazeni, Su God Mighty, Longo Zhagzoanhao. The old man always said that Su Ziyandi is the most outstanding young talent in Longo Kangaroo Country. Samson, in addition to the previous reward of 5 million kills, isn't it true that Su Island Master has 2 semi-artifacts in his hands? Lighthouse Country Anno, HMPH, it's just a broken half artifact. What's so good about it? Our Lighthouse Country will definitely have it. Maple Leaf Country Jeffs, shameful Lighthouse Country, let alone the semi-artifact. If you can't control the devil, don't go to the Blue Star Belt. My hometown has been bombed. Fuck, Asango Herald, do you need holy water? It definitely works. The chat area is always so happy. Sube doesn't know how those island owners still have time to chat and irrigate under the devil's offensive. Usually a scene of dying and living, but every time there is any movement, there will always be a bunch of island owners who have never seen their names. Outrageous. But Sube's attention quickly shifted. The Veil of the Evernight Goddess was already in his hands. The hole is a translucent black gauze, but there are many holes on it. Very much in line with the positioning of the broken demigod. The dark claw contained in it is very weak. If it hadn't been recovered and preserved by the island world, and when all the laws inside had dissipated, this veil would have fallen to the rank of a demigod and all the way down. Just like the original Poseidon horn, it fell directly to the diamond level quality. Even annihilation disappears. This veil needs to be repaired and cannot be used directly. Repairing the semi-artifact, the forging workshop is somewhat powerless. Even Leopold, the top dwarf leader up to 2.5, did not have that skill. Repair only with the help of the power of entries. Let's try an entry first. Refresh. There is no colorful light, only the legendary orange. Continuous repair. Legendary. Repair the gap in the Veil of the Goddess of the Night. After pondering for a moment, Sube decided to fix an entry first, and then make plans after the veil is completely repaired. Just let Dueling carry it with her. When the veil is repaired, her level is estimated to meet the requirements. You can try to master the dark claws contained in the veil. Dueling got the veil and tried to wear it. Later, she found that the damage was a little serious, so she could only put it away safely. Afterwards, Sube summoned Claudia and went to the location of the sea god's horn together. After half a year of continuous restoration, the former artifact has begun to take shape. Chapter 387 Invitation of the Special Task Force. The horn of the sea god was first learned by Subei, and it turned into a horn of curse, a weapon used by the Dark-Tide Merlics to attack mermaids. Later, Subei fought against the king of the Dark-Tide Merlics, purifying the cursed horn and restoring it to the sea god horn. It's just that the damage is too serious, and it has lost its divinity. Fortunately, it was not completely destroyed, and Subei also wrote a continuous recovery entry for the Poseidon horn. In the past 6 months, he will check the status from time to time. Although it has not recovered to the stage of an artifact or semi-artifact, it is undoubtedly much better than before. What surprised Subei even more was that the law of the water system contained in the horn of the sea god is recovering. As expected of the equipment that has experienced the battle of gods with the sea god, as long as it does not completely disintegrate, there is a possibility of returning to its peak. After the previous blockade was lifted, Claudia had been promoted to the supreme top level and was hitting the sanctuary. It is very suitable for her to hand over the horn of the sea god. Mastering the laws of the water system can effectively speed up Claudia's promotion progress. It can also increase combat power. If there is the sea god's horn, the exchange of water-based demi-artifacts can be delayed for a while, and the demi-artifacts of other attributes can be exchanged first. Subei's next target, 17, is the Potions King's Alchemy Pot, worth 5 million merit points. The user is naturally Helena. It's a pity that I haven't found a semi-artifact in terms of magic patterns, so I can only think of a way later. While thinking about it, Subei and Claudia came to the core area of the main island, the high platform where the Poseidon horn was stored. The cracks that once spread all over the horn have disappeared for the most part. Those small cracks were repaired, and only a trace of a sharp blade was left. This was also the biggest scar that caused the sea god horn to almost break. As for who launched the attack, it is unclear for the time being. Even if the omniscient eye is activated, only a vague shadow can be seen. It was a human-shaped god, covered in flames, holding a golden long sword and slashing over the sea god with one sword. The long sword brushed the sea god's horn, causing the artifact to almost explode. The power of that sword can be imagined. That unknown god was also the main factor that led to the fall of the sea god. Subei looked at the horn of the sea god, his thoughts were flying, as if he was in the original battle of the gods, and felt the killing intent and despair of the gods. Claudia stood silently beside her without making a sound. For a moment, Subei woke up from his thoughts. This is also a certain negative effect of the all-seeing eye. Subei parses everything in front of him unconsciously. If there are too many targets involved and the amount of data is too large, it will cause Subei to lose his mind for a moment. If you want to improve this, you can only continue to promote. The current supreme rank is not enough. Subei let out a long breath and said, "Claudia, you will be in charge of this horn from now on." 55 Claudia bowed and saluted without refusing, but said, "Follow the orders of my lord." Giving the sea god horn to Claudia, on the one hand, accelerates her upgrade. On the other hand, it is also to consolidate Claudia's position. In addition to the Claudia family, 4 mermaid tribes came to the wood elves one after another, with a total of more than 60,000 people. They live in the waters around the main island. Among them, the mermaid queens have all completed entry enhancements and have supreme strength. The closest Subei is, of course, is Claudia, so let her be in charge of the horn of the sea god, thus uniting all the mermaid tribes. Under Subei's command, there is no need for so many strong clan branches. He gave the scepter of nature to Decaya with the same thought. In the future, whether it is wood elves, mountain elves, or even black elves, they will reintegrate into the elves. As they were born. To this end, the elves need a new king, that is, Decaya. In Subei's plan of becoming a god, among his kingdoms of gods, there will be kingdoms of gods. In the kingdom of God, there are the holy spirits of all races. Accelerating the integration of tribal branches is conducive to the integration of beliefs, and is an indispensable link for the entire god-building plan. What Subei wants to create is not his own god, but an entire pantheon. While thinking about it, Subei received a message from Shen Qingling. "Is it convenient to go to the headquarters of the Special Task Force? The leaders want to see you." Subei replied, "Let me reveal what it is." Shen, Kingling, in summary, it is about belief and becoming a god. Subei, okay, I'll be there soon. For island defense work, Subei doesn't need to explain too much. After so many battles, he can fight with his eyes closed. After arranging the guards of the two space funnels, Subei started the teleportation and came to the headquarters of the Special Task Force. He has been here once. The last time I came, it was to sell the first batch of blood spirit fruit. From this, he also got acquainted with senior island owners like Xiaoanhao. Speaking of which, Xiaoanhao's current ranking is not low, and he is hovering around the 50th place on the demon slaying list. Several times the demon offensive has been raised, but they have not caused much threat to him. There is naturally a credit to Subei here. For Albei and Zhaohu's sake, Subei provided Xiaoanhao with a lot of magic pattern scrolls and magic potions. Of course, you still have to pay. Just charge a cost price, which can be ignored. This time, Subei clearly found that the headquarters of the Special Task Force had more traces of war. Even the defensive fortresses in the distance are still firing. As the headquarters of the Special Task Force, there are a large number of people gathered here, and the devil will not miss it. In fact, Subei also sent Jerome to the headquarters of the Special Task Force in the previous action on behalf of the fight to relieve the crisis. Still sighing with emotion, a familiar female voice rang in my ears. Island Master Su, we meet again. Turning his head to look, it was Shen Kingling, still wearing gold-rimmed glasses and a professional suit, with a different style. Subei smiled, ignoring the battle in the distance, and greeted, Island Master Shen, stay safe. 8:30 The two walked forward while chatting. The destination is the hall where the blood spirit fruit was traded last time. At this time, dozens of island owners were already waiting in the lobby, and when they saw Subei arriving, they came to greet him one after another. Through self-introduction, Subei found that the Dragon Country Island Masters who ranked high on the demon slaying list are basically here. Including Xiaoanhao, also here. Xiaoanhao walked over and said, Brother Suzian, my two great-granddaughters who are incompetent have been doing well recently. The surrounding island owners suddenly showed envious expressions. This guy, Lao, is really a chicken thief. It turns out that there is such a relationship. No wonder he can buy so many resources from Subei. That's something outsiders can't buy. Xiaoanhao felt the gazes of other island owners and seemed a little complacent. The decision was the right one. Subei smiled and replied, they're fine, nothing serious. No. Xiaoanhao smiled, that's good. That's good. After the greeting, everyone took their seats. There are still so many demons outside, everyone is very busy, and it's time to get down to business. One of the founders of the Special Task Force, the first batch of island owners 100 years ago, and the second place on the current demon slaying list, Fi Tongjai, as the host of the meeting, said first, Su Island Lord, take the liberty to ask a question before we start. What stage has your god-building plan evolved to? Chapter 388, The Decision to Block the National Fortune. As for the identity of Fiji, Subei has also investigated and knows that he, or the Fiji family, has considerable power in the Special Task Force. At this time, Fi Tongjai's inquiry seemed to be his personal question, but in fact it was the intention of the leaders of the Special Task Force. And it directly points to the God creation plan. Subei knew in his heart that this meeting would be related to the policy of the Special Task Force. After thinking for a moment, Subei replied, my subordinates already have 6 sanctuaries, and they will be promoted to the 7th soon. In terms of law mastery, I have obtained the law of omniscience. In addition to this, there are 3 kinds of powers, the law of nature, the law of the water system, and the law of darkness, which have been handed over to the powerful under your command to analyze and master. 5 These words surprised the island owners of the surrounding special team. Despite their expectations, they still underestimated Subei's progress. Unexpectedly, it is impossible to imagine that there are 4 laws at the same time. Shen Kingling also stretched out his hand and pushed his eyes, and there was a brilliance in his beautiful eyes. She should have communicated with Subei the most, but she still did not expect that his progress was so fast. Fi Tongjai sighed, Su Island Lord is really talented, Unlike us old bones, who have tried for 100 years and still haven't even touched the threshold of becoming a god. After speaking, Fitongjai smiled again and said, "It's not just the threshold of becoming a god, we haven't even reached the sanctuary level." 35 Zhuangzhuanhao added, "When the blockade was lifted before, I only had the first supreme rank under my command. Compared with Brother Suzyan, I was already far behind." Other senior island owners also spoke up, praising Subei for being a young man and a pillar of the country. Subei accepted it calmly, then smiled. "I'm afraid you called me not just to talk about this." 99 Fitongjai said, "Don't worry, Island Master Su, this time there is only one issue. National luck. National luck?" Subei's expression became solemn, and Fitongjai and others also looked solemn. The atmosphere of the venue became solemn. The word national fortune is simple to say, but behind it lies the entire Dragon Kingdom and 3 billion civilians. In the silence, Subei said, "Your decision can represent the Dragon Kingdom?" Fitongjai and others nodded. Although they didn't say it, their attitude has already been made clear. In fact, Subei knew it too. After the appearance of the island world, the power structure of various countries has undergone earth-shaking changes. Taking Longo as an example, the main decision-making has been handled by the Special Affairs Team. Other forces, such as the Lighthouse Nation, have similar organizations. This is determined by the strategic position of the island world. No way, the power mastered by the island owner is too exaggerated. If nothing else, just say Subei. He has only risen for a few months, less than a year, and he has already had an extraordinary influence in the West City, even surpassing the city lord of the West City. The senior island owners have been developing in the island world for dozens or hundreds of years, and the feedback influence on Blue Star is self-evident. Among the Special Task Force, the dozens of island owners present represented the top group. They and their families constitute the top power of the special team. Therefore, when Fitongjai is talking about national luck, he really has that qualification. Concentrating his mind, Subei probably knew the content of today's discussion. However, he did not speak, but waited for Fitongjai to continue. Fitongjai didn't delay much, and continued, "Now that the Abyss Channel is open, the Devil's offensive is getting stronger every day, and we will be unable to resist it sooner or later." With a calm expression, Fitongjai said bluntly, "Everyone understands this." The other island owners nodded. They are still very clear about how much they have. To be honest, if Subei hadn't tinkered with the magic pattern scrolls and provided a lot of power potions, they wouldn't be able to hold on to it now. It is very likely that when the Xinyao demon came, it would have been blown up. But with the emergence of the Supreme Demon Lord, the defeat is set. To this end, the Special Task Force and even the Dragon Kingdom need a new guide. After this period of observation, the candidates are self-evident. It's Subei. The reason why Fitongjai asked about the progress of the God creation plan was to see if it would work. If Subei doesn't do anything, then they don't care, just take one step at a time. Whenever he can't hold on, he will give up his identity as the island owner and return to Blue Star. But now, things have turned around. Subei mastered 4 laws. There are even sanctuary-level powerhouses under his command. Then there is nothing to say, only by uniting around Subei can we survive this catastrophe. As a representative elected by the Special Task Force, Fitongjai said bluntly, "We are ready to fully support you, and we will fully implement hope as the state religion. We all know that the key to becoming a god is faith. It's inappropriate to say something. The current Blue Star is in chaos, and ordinary people who are precarious need faith as their heart support. The advancement of faith has natural advantages. We have actually tried to implement our own teachings, with some success, but if we can't grasp the laws, these beliefs are meaningless and can't provide substantial help. But you are different. You have mastered the law and have the best chance of becoming a god. Make hope the state religion, enhance the power of faith, and speed up your god-building plan. Once you become a god, you can in turn protect the Dragon Country and let the Dragon Country continue in the disaster. This is our plan, blocking the final decision of the national movement. After Phi Tongjai finished speaking, he looked at Su Bei with burning eyes and asked, "Now, it's your time to make a decision." Sitting on the law of omniscience, Su Bei instantly judged the feasibility of this decision to be very high. At least in combination with the existing information, it has the highest success rate and the highest return. Once successful, the Dragon Kingdom can be reborn in Su Bei's Divine Kingdom. Although there are no gods in the island world now, the glory of the gods is no longer there. However, the sporadic information collected by the special team can still depict the stalwart of the gods. There is also the magic of the Kingdom of God. Take a step back and talk about it. The money is good, even if the Kingdom of God is no longer good. That is also better than the resource-poor Blue Star, and the island world where war-torn demons are raging. The God creation plan is urgent. Su Bei calmed down and said slowly, "That's the best way to go." After a pause, Su Bei asked, "What is your appeal?" Su Bei is not worried that these veteran island owners have cravings. On the contrary, if these people want nothing, then something is wrong. A flash of enthusiasm flashed in Phi Tongjai's eyes, and he said solemnly, "We hope to become a demigod and have an eternal life." Su Bei nodded and said, "This request is very reasonable, and I can agree to it. But, you also know that becoming a god doesn't happen overnight. It takes time." Phi Tongjai and others nodded to show their understanding. They can wait. But you can't wait too long. After all, the demon's offensive is too strong. It's hard to say how long it can last. Chapter 389 Reorganization of the Special Task Force. For the troubles of the senior island owners, Su Bei naturally has a solution. Now that both sides have the same demands, Su Bei can't just sit back and watch their island be breached. Su Bei also needed them to help advance the Hope Conference. To be honest, even with Su Bei's current name, it is still difficult to advance the Hope meeting without hindrance in the Dragon Kingdom. Although before that, he and the special team reached an agreement that the other party would assist him in expanding the Hope meeting. But assisting this kind of thing, the line is blurred. Not working hard is also a way to help. This is inevitable. So Su Bei's base camp in Blue Star is still Zhang and surrounding cities. This is the place where he has lived. He has innate advantages and can better open up the situation. In other places, especially the areas controlled by the hidden family like the family, the progress of the Hope meeting is a little subtle. It is said that there is no progress, and the number of believers is increasing. To say that the results are impressive, there are only a few, and they have no effect on the overall situation. To change this, only cooperation. If they want a demigod in Phi Tongjai, then give it to them. As for whether they can live to that time, it depends on the good fortune. But Su Bei won't just sit back and watch them die, and needs to make sure they survive. The devil's offensive is strengthening, and Phi Tongjai's strength also needs to be strengthened. Su Bei didn't want to be a bear commander. With this in mind, Su Bei said, "I have a way to help you 830 strengthen your superpowers, or aboriginal warriors." Phi Tongjai and others showed such an expression as expected. They had already guessed that Su Bei's current achievements were definitely not attainable by normal means. Now Su Bei said it himself, and they confirmed their guesses, which made Phi Tongjai and others very gratified. This can be regarded as gaining the trust of Su Bei and the possibility of further development. For Su Bei, arranging chess pieces beside them in Phi Tongjai is also a necessary means. Afterwards, everyone came to the square outside, and Phi Tongjai and others returned to their island one after another, bringing the strong men under their command over. Su Bei glanced at it and directly gave the entry a fixed reinforcement. Whether it is an ability user or aboriginal warrior, the ranks have begun to break through. The supreme level ability user under Zhao Xuanhao has soared directly to the supreme level. Even in the face of the Demon Lord, he has the power to fight. Under the command of these senior island masters in Phi Tongjai, there are also strong people who have made a qualitative leap. Everyone smiled, and they were more confident about the follow-up battle. Even began to imagine what kind of semi-artifact to exchange. 100 semi-artifacts cannot be taken away by Su Bei. They are going to be demigods in the future, so what if they don't have the corresponding weapons and equipment? They don't fit their status. However, They obviously did not think about a problem in Fitongjai. These powerhouses strengthened by Subei, the demons they killed, the number of enemies they killed was not counted on their heads. Instead, it counts as Subei's kills. Helping Fitongjai to strengthen the superpowers, the most profitable one is Subei. This point, Fitongjai and others may or may not know. But it doesn't matter. At this moment, Subei has the absolute initiative. No matter how many thoughts they have in their hearts, Fitongjai must rely on these strong men, otherwise they will not be able to keep the island at all. Dozens of senior island owners have successively brought in nearly 1 million troops, generally above the gold level. Platinum and diamond grades are no longer rare. But further up, the number of starlight grades decreases sharply. At the supreme level, it can be counted on one hand. This was only after the island world lifted the blockade and was promoted successfully. However, after being strengthened by Subei, their strength skyrocketed. Like the gold-platinum level, it is directly promoted by 2 levels. The diamond grade and the star grade are mostly 1 rank. On the contrary, the performance of the supreme class was not good. None of them were promoted to the sanctuary class, and the highest was the supreme class. But the senior island owners are already satisfied. This has exceeded their expectations. These fortified troops will follow Fitongjai back to the island to help Subei increase the number of kills. In 2 days, his kill count will officially exceed 10 million. At that time, it is time to obtain the highest known reward. Demigod level treasure, BHCF, box. He obtained the natural scepter of the demigod in perfect condition. So based on this calculation, it is obvious that you can count on a god-level treasure chests to open an artifact. Fitongjai and others sent their troops back to the island, and then came to the headquarters of the Special Task Force to meet. The task force needs some changes. Since it was decided to rely on Subei to complete the god-building plan, the special team should also be led by him to reorganize. But Subei didn't have that much time to stay at the task force headquarters, so he assigned 3 representatives. There is not much emphasis on selecting people, how to get there easily. In the end, Shen Qingling, Dao Xuanhao, and Fitongjai were selected. The 3 of them will be responsible for the reorganization of the special task force. Subei took advantage of the situation and put forward the first motion. Those trustworthy island owners of the special task force can also bring their troops to the headquarters of the special task force to receive reinforcement. When the merit store is open, this is the fastest way to increase merit points. There are millions or even tens of millions of combat troops helping Subei kill the enemy in the island world, and the merit points are so high that they can't stop. This motion was unanimously approved. Of course, with Subei's current strength and right to speak, even if someone objected, it would be useless. Subei gave these island masters face and did not accept them as subordinates. But if someone doesn't want to be decent, then Subei doesn't mind helping them be decent. At this point, the matter is basically over, and Subei's special team's trip is also coming to an end. However, when Subei was about to return to the island, Shen Qingling invited him to the island as a guest. By the way, help her strengthen the combat troops under her command. Naturally, Subei would not refuse this request. Shen Qingling's island, after more than 3 years of development, has become quite large. Of course, the real explosive growth came after she was in charge of communicating with Subei. After a lot of resources, Shen Qingling also made a lot of money. Shen Qingling's island covers an area of 30 square kilometers, and there are 20,000 troops of abilities. A full set of second-order magic pattern blessing, coupled with the ability potion. The strength is very good. Even compared to those island owners who have been developing for decades, they are not too conceited. Subei nodded, no more words, and instantly completed the strengthening of 20,000 ability users. Before starting work, Subei asked, how much reinforcement is needed? Subei looked up at the sky. It was already evening. Shen Qingling thought for a moment and said, all of them. Beauties, invite each other. But it is difficult to fail. Subei replied, you must know that if you strengthen all of them, then your kill count and merit points will basically not increase. After chatting for a while, Shen Qingling said, don't go back today. Shen Qingling smiled and said, It doesn't matter. Chapter 390 Layout. Early in the morning, Bei opened his eyes. The bright golden light flashed away. This light also made Shen Qingling wake up, rubbing his sleepy eyes, and muttering with a little doubt, "I should have pulled the curtains. Why is there still sunlight coming in?" 35 Bei stroked Shen Qingling's hair and smiled. "It's your illusion." "Okay." Shen Qingling didn't delve into it, then remembered the situation last night. Her pretty face blushed slightly. She retracted the quilt and said, I'm going to have a look." Bei smiled and waited for her in the living room after packing up. After a while, Shen Qingling came to the living room to discuss follow-up matters. Shen Qingling said, "Although I am also from the special affairs team, I still want to remind you that their starting point in Fitongjia is not necessarily for the Dragon Kingdom." Bei smiled. "I know." He even knew more than Shen Qingling. In front of the all-seeing eye, Fitongjia and their thoughts could not hide at all. These senior island owners in Fitongjia have already lost the will to forge ahead. For them, becoming gods is only for eternal life, so as to enjoy eternal power. The national fortune in their mouth is mixed with private goods. It is more about family fortune than national fortune. But even so, Bei was willing to work with them. Not for anything else. Just take care of the ordinary people of the Dragon Kingdom. They're innocent and have the right to pursue a new life and embrace hope. Bei doesn't want to see ordinary people fall prey to ambition. He needs time. Wait until hope will fully bloom in the Dragon Country, and wait until he can take more initiative. Anyway, in front of the bait of becoming a god, Fitongjia will not make any crazy moves. This is enough. After saying a few words about his inner thoughts to Shen Qingling, Bei changed the subject and said, "Your defense here is not secure enough. I will send some people here." Shen Qingling nodded and said, "Listen to your arrangement." It was Bei's plan to turn Shen Qingling's island into a second demon burial place. He is going to send 2 sanctuary-level dragons to come to sit. Anyway, the 20,000 ability users on the island are considered his subordinates, and the number of kills is counted on his head. Coupled with other aboriginal warriors, it will definitely speed up the accumulation of merit points. Bei glanced at the demon killing list. After giving Fitongjia and the others to strengthen the ability user yesterday, the number of kills has increased by another 1.5 million. 8 million of these are inherent growths from Wood Elf lands. The other 500,000 are from their islands in Fitongjia. Those million combat troops are accumulating resources for Bei. Shen Qingling also arranged manpower here, which was a convenient move. However, there are caveats to be noted. Bei said, "If you can't do anything, just go back to Zhang and I will pick you up." Shen Qingling nodded and said, "I understand." Bei then instructed the surrounding aboriginal tribes, "You also go to contact, gather them. I will send you more people. Don't worry about the defense work." Shen Qingling smiled and said, "It's all up to you." After a moment of tenderness, Bei returned to the island and called Zacharias and the King of Wind Dragon, both of whom were new sanctuary-level powerhouses. "You choose some tribesmen, bring 50,000 indigenous warriors, and gather to wait for me." Of course, Zacharias would not object, so he went to arrange it excitedly. Bei quickly browsed the battle records and called Lulu over at the same time. "See, my lord." Lulu approached and saluted respectfully. Bei waved his hand and said, "I need 100 agents." Lu immediately said, "My lord, wait a moment, I will arrange it immediately. Go find someone when you're done." A quarter of an hour later, Lulu returned with the agents, and Zacharias and the King of Wind Dragon also completed the troop assembly and waited for orders in the open space. Bei takes people to Shen Qingling Island. Zacharias and the King of Wind Dragons and the troops they lead will guard the battle here. When Shen Qingling saw the arrival of 50,000 aboriginal soldiers, she was so shocked that she was speechless. But after thinking about it, he calmed down again. She had seen Bei's ability, let alone 50,000 warriors. Even if it was 10 times more, it would still be difficult for him. Shen Qingling looked at Bei, full of admiration. Strong, confident and unmatched. Such a man is very attractive. Subay selected 2 people from the surrogates and put them in charge of presiding over daily prayers and grand prayers here. The remaining 98 agents were teleported to the Special Task Force headquarters. These agents will travel in pairs to their island in Phetongjai to preach the Church of Hope teachings. In the future, Subay will send thousands of followers of the agent level to the Blue Star to develop the Hope Club in the control area of the family. This is also part of the collaboration. Coming to the headquarters of the Special Task Force, these senior island owners in Phetongjai wisely did not mention the fact that the number of kills they killed did not increase but decreased. Their lives now depend on those supernatural warriors and aboriginal warriors that Subay has strengthened. And those people are absolutely loyal to Subay. If they want to become demigods in Phetongjai, they must live to that time. In fact, at this time, many of them in Phetongjai have already figured it out. It's also good to be a hands-off shopkeeper. Their kill count doesn't increase significantly though. But on the contrary, it will be more moisturizing. With so many high-level abilities, the risk of the island being breached has been directly reduced by more than half. And with this relationship, when they encounter danger, they can feel at ease and boldly ask Subay for help. Thinking of this, many senior island owners immediately smiled. They want to become demigods, and survival is more important than some control over the island. Now Subay brings agents to arrange to preach to their island, and expand the hope will be. The island owners had no objection at all. Even very welcome. For example, Dao Xuanhao said, "President Su, if you don't give me a few agents, there are many people on my side, and 2 may not be enough." For Lao's sneaking behavior, Phetongjai and others naturally couldn't bear it, and they all said that there were more people there. Subay waved his hand and said, "Everyone is a member of the Hope Club, and I will not sit idly by. The corresponding support troops will be dispatched in the future." 35 But I also have a task for you. Things are arranged and Subay returns to the island. As soon as the words fell, Dao Xuanhao had already answered, "It's gathering the Aborigines. We know what we know, don't worry." Subay didn't say anything about the resurrection, but only said that the victim would be buried in the Wood Elves territory. The layout is basically completed. The next step is to wait for the harvest time to dry. The smile on the corner of his mouth became more comfortable. Zhao Xuanhao smiled and promised again and again. Subay immediately responded to this cheap old man's supportive move, saying, "Dao Deazu, after you return to the island after a meeting, send me a message, and I will send you some people." At the same time, Subay also warned that if any fighters die, they need to be sent back to him in time. The crowd did not suspect him, and they agreed. Chapter 391 The number of kills exceeded 10 million, God-level treasure chest reward. In addition to Shen Qingling, Subay also sent 5,000 Aboriginal warriors to other senior island owners. Almost 250,000 troops. In addition to the power users who had been strengthened before, each island owner had at least 20,000 strengthened combat troops, and the pressure on defense plummeted. In contrast, Subay's madly increasing number of kills. The 2 space funnels above the Wood Elves territory ensured an increase in the number of kills at the level of 1 million. It will be difficult to increase this number. After all, the Abyss Demon God is not a fool. Although they have solved the space funnel, they can control where the demons fall to a certain extent. Millions of demons cannot escape, and they are bound to die. But it can be ensured that no more demons will be attracted by the space funnel and fall into that place of death. It's just that the Abyss Demon God obviously didn't expect that Subay set his sights on the entire island world of 830. The layout of dozens of senior island owners is his test. In fact, there is no need to test. The law of omniscience has already told Subay that his plan is foolproof and will definitely succeed. Nearly 50 senior island owners are scattered around the island world, bringing Subay an additional 2 million kills per day. With this calculation, he kills more than 3 million enemies every day, and the efficiency is so high that people dare not look directly at him. That is to say, there are enough demons in the abyss. Otherwise such a killing method would have collapsed long ago. The super high number of kills was recorded, and Subay received a notification from the island world 2 days later. Your total kills have reached 10 million. and you will get a god-level treasure chest. Sube with joy, truly a treasure chest. Although he calculated according to the principle of 15, he guessed that the reward for killing 10 million enemies was god level. But not entirely sure. After all, the information given by Island World did not explicitly mention this. But now, he has made up his mind. Truly a treasure chest. After all, it was the first god-level item on the island, and Sube felt that it was necessary to be more serious. After paying his respects by washing his hands and face, Sube opened the treasure chest. No accident, it's still an item. It's a sword. This is what Sube can use. With his current strength, Long Yan Dao can't keep up with the rhythm. Concentrating, Sube took the battle out of the box, held it in his hand and waved it twice. Swish. The space is torn apart, and the air is coming. Sube was secretly shocked. My dear, if you go down with this knife, let alone a supreme demon lord, even a sanctuary will have to die on the spot. Blade of the God of War, an artifact, the weapon used by the God of War, has the effect of ignoring all defenses. Simple description, extremely powerful. Moreover, under the analysis of the all-seeing eye, Sube could clearly see that the God of War's blade contains the law of battle. That is the power of the God of War, including all the killing skills in the world. As long as he absorbs it, Sube will have no fear of any enemy in frontal combat. After making two gestures with the Ares blade, Sube began to think about a question. The weapon of the God of War is so well preserved. Could it be that the God of War fell before he exerted his strength? Outrageous. Sube untied the Long Yan sword on his belt and replaced the God of War blade. Then he began to think about how to deal with the Long Yan sword. This weapon has been with him for a long time, and it cannot be directly rebuilt. After thinking for a moment, Sube decided to put the Dragon Yin sword in the forging workshop, and let the dwarves observe and study the forging techniques. The dwarves were very excited about the arrival of the dragon sword, and Heshlet organized several study sessions to exchange experiences with the Blackrock dwarves and other dwarven tribes. The craftsmanship of the forging workshop has been greatly improved, which is also a pleasant surprise. While waiting for the accumulation of merit points, Sube came under the world tree, sat down beside Zakaya and Claudia, and began to perceive the law of killing inside while holding the God of War blade. As a real divine weapon, the God of War's blade is naturally strong without question. The law of killing contained in it has benefited Sube a lot, and his fighting skills have grown rapidly and visibly. Sube felt something. Even if he doesn't have the professional bonus of Demon Slayer warrior, he can easily slaughter demons. That's the power of the law of killing. It is a completely different force from the law of omniscience. Under the world tree, Sube's breath began to climb upwards. It will not be long before you will be promoted to the Supreme Intermediate. While comprehending the law, Sube also pays attention to the external situation. When the vision spreads out, you can see that on both sides of the fortress defense circle, demons are falling from the sky like dumplings. But on the way, he was killed by the island powerhouse and became the nourishment of the world tree. The world tree is getting denser, and the gift is given back to promote the island troops to become stronger. Under such a cycle, the devil's death rate is faster. Elsewhere in the island world, Fitongjai, their island, the devil has suffered its worst defeat in recent months. The demon was defeated by the suddenly stronger island army and contributed merit points to Sube. Soon, the merit points reached 5 million again. And Sube opened his eyes at the same time. Upgraded. He is now a supreme intermediate. Looking down at the God of War blade, Sube sighed. It really is a divine weapon, so terrifying. Hanging the sword to his waist, Sube opened the merit shop and found the Potion King's alchemy jar. This half-artifact worth 5 million was prepared for Helena. Island owner Sube, you have spent 5 million merit points to get the potion of the Potion King's alchemy. The shape of this demi-artifact is very different from the crucible that Helena often uses. This is normal. After all, the name of this thing is an alchemy pot, a jar. On the top of the alchemy jar, there are two gaps, which can be directly used to configure potions, which is obviously not feasible and needs to be repaired first. After refreshing a continuous repair entry, Sube handed the alchemy jar to Helena. Helena held it in her hand and looked at it for a moment. and her expression became a little shocked. She never expected that Sube would bring her such a gift without a word. "Islander, I am very happy." Helena bowed 2.5 times with a sincere smile. Sube smiled and said, "Thank me for what I do, it doesn't matter." Helena gave a thumbs up and said in admiration, "The island owner is very atmospheric. This is a demigod. Even if it is in a damaged state, it is still a semi-artifact, an existence that ordinary people would not even dare to think about. In the end, it was sent by Sube. That is to say, Helena has been with Sube for a long time, knowing that he often does amazing things, otherwise she will have to fall into contemplation and doubt life. It will take about a few months for this alchemy jar to be restored to a usable state," said Sube. Helena waved her hand indifferently and said, "Don't say it's a few months, even if it's decades or 100 years, I'm willing to wait." 9. Sube was speechless. The longevity of the elves made Helena feel confident when she said this. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 392 The Reliance of the Lighthouse Country. Killing more than 10 million enemies and obtaining the divine weapon, the God of War blade, is not something worthy of publicity for Sube. But for other forces, this is not the case. In particular, the Lighthouse Country and the White House held an emergency meeting to discuss countermeasures. Now after the emergence of the island world, the members of the White House have become the spokespersons of the big island owner and the big financial group. At this time, hundreds of people gathered together, and on the podium, there was a middle-aged man talking eloquently. "Gentlemen, we must find a way to stop that Dragon Country Islander." This is the tone of the meeting. But here comes the problem. How to stop. When the Abyss Demon didn't come, they couldn't compete. The few new island owners who tried their best to support them didn't do anything at all and couldn't keep up with Sube's rhythm. Speaking of this, some participants said angrily, who said that the guy named Richard could become the new king. Now, everyone has been torn apart by demons, and our resources have been lost. It must be someone is responsible for this! 35 Many people clamored for approval. That's right, someone has to pay for the loss. Otherwise, wouldn't this real gold and silver be equivalent to throwing it into the water, which is absolutely unbearable. As for Richard's life and death, everyone who was present cared about 17. Their heartache is only their own loss. Fortunately, the middle-aged man presiding over the meeting was still reasonable and was not led by the nose. Bang bang bang. The middle-aged man tapped the table with a small wooden hammer to signal everyone to be quiet, and then said solemnly, "Although our Supreme Rookie King has not cracked his final reward, we can't sit back and watch a Supreme Rookie King appear in the Dragon Kingdom." We all agree with it. Everyone nodded. Seeing that everyone's attention was attracted, the middle-aged man hurriedly continued, "My suggestion is that the various consortiums present gather all the new island owners under their command, rely on moving the island, gather in the final area, and integrate before the settlement." The Dragon Kingdom was caught off guard. "This is our last chance." Someone at the meeting objected and said, "We have tried your plan before, but the island rating of Sube was not as high as it is now, and it failed." Others also opened their mouths to express their views. If they could do it, they would have tried it earlier, and they would have waited until now. After everyone finished speaking, the host smiled mysteriously and said, "We have reached an agreement with the demon lords. They will attack the island, clean up the enemies on it, and the island will be left to us. At the same time, the great demon god in the abyss will send stronger demon lords to carry out the raid plan, which will definitely make the people of the Dragon Kingdom pay the price in blood." 35 The host's words made the participants look surprised. If so, the chances of success are much higher. But there are also people who have different views and worry. But as far as we know, that Sube has exchanged 2 half-artifacts, as well as the cumulative reward for the number of kills, 1 half-artifact and 1 artifact. Even if the Lord Demon sent him, the new subordinates may not necessarily succeed. 5. When other people hear it, although these words are a little too ambitious to destroy their own prestige, they are essentially right. That Dragon Country Islander, Subei, is really too strong. Dozens of supreme demon lords have been killed, so what if there are other demon lords? Although the host had a smile on his face, he had already scolded the speaker to the bottom of his heart. Will it depend on the atmosphere? Is now the time to say that? As long as you can see clearly, right? However, what has been said, naturally cannot be ignored. The host was heartbroken and broke the news. The one sent by Lord Demon God is a demigod. Demigod. Hiss. Everyone present was shocked. Then it feels wrong. Now that even the sanctuary level demons can't pass, how could there be demigod level demons? The will of the island world is not to be seen. In the face of many questioning eyes, the host did not change his face, and said leisurely, "The Lord has stayed at the top of the sanctuary for thousands of years, and has mastered some of the laws of chaos, but he has not officially achieved the status of God, but his strength is definitely not enough." Poor. The host made a final decision, anyway, this time, that Subei is dead. Wow. There was thunderous applause, and everyone cheered. The meeting ended in a cheerful atmosphere. Subei also vaguely got wind of the Lighthouse Country's small moves. Now Blue Star has demons everywhere, bringing chaos and making infiltration easier. Although the information of the meeting has not been leaked, Subei already knew that there was such a meeting, and knew that the Lighthouse State was going to target him. But Subei was fearless. He has fought so far and has experienced countless crises, so how can he care about this time? But as the old saying goes, despise the enemy strategically and value the enemy tactically. Corresponding arrangement, Subei still arranged it. This incident will be used as the first battle after the reorganization of the Special Task Force to test the results. After 2 days in this way, Subei noticed that the growth rate of the number of kills was slowing down. On the Wood Elves side, it is still 1 million a day. The number of kills in other places has dropped from the previous 2 million to 1 million. But the number of demons that descended did not change much. When this happens, there are only two possibilities. One is that the devil is afraid of being beaten, and decides to change the place to attack. The other is that the devil is ready to do something. Soon, Subei received the news. The demons gathered troops and concentrated their strength to destroy a large number of islands. 833 But they did not stay on the island again, and did not establish a base on it as before. Go when you're done, never stop. More news to come. Under the law of omniscience, the devil's plans are unobstructed. The islands that the demons have broken through are connected in a few straight lines, converging in a certain area. Subei immediately understood the plan of the Lighthouse Nation. They colluded with the devil to create a super island, so that a new island owner's island rating would rise straight, so as to surpass him in one fell swoop and compete for the monthly Rookie King. It will be the 9th monthly Rookie King settlement soon, and the Lighthouse Country should be too late. Their goal is the 10th time. Thinking of this, Subei frowned. He smelled an unusual breath. If he planned this operation, then while building the super island, double insurance would be arranged to ensure the success of the plan. What else is more concise and effective than directly killing a competitor? The Abyss Demon God will increase his offensive. Subei made a judgment in an instant, and then continued to deduce. Gradually, a word appeared in his mind. Quasi-demigods. Refers to those powerhouses whose strength far exceeds the sanctuary level, but has not reached the demigod level. The trump card of the Lighthouse Country is probably this. A quasi-demigod level demon. Chapter 393 Urgent Mission. The quasi-demigod demon is coming. Parsing out the Lighthouse State's plans isn't difficult. The difficulty is how to resist the quasi-demigod level demon. Subei is confident that he can instantly kill any sanctuary level powerhouse, whether it is aboriginal or a demon. All of them can be killed in seconds. But the quasi-demigod level power is completely different. Has basically mastered a certain law, although the divine fire has not been ignited to condense the divine position, but it is not far off. If the Abyss Demon spends all his strength to open a channel and send a quasi-demigod demon, then things will be more difficult. Don't look at Subei's strong men like clouds. There are as many as 6 at the sanctuary level. But all of Aslia's sanctuary level added up. And it was not a quasi-demigod level opponent. This is determined by the power level. Even if there are entries to make up, it is not so easy to smooth the gap. The biggest possibility is that Aslia and the others will trade 6 for 1. If it is someone else, it is acceptable to be able to replace one quasi-demigod with 6 sanctuaries. But Subei doesn't think so. This battle, he will personally take action. The newly acquired Ares blade, eager to drink the blood of the enemy. However, the opponent was a quasi-demigod after all, and Subei couldn't take it lightly. He needed to further comprehend the killing laws and the God of War's blade. In addition, the movement of this battle will be very exaggerated. In order to avoid the razing of the Wood Elf territory he carefully built, the battlefield must be shifted into the air. At the same time, let the spirit of the island have an overview of the situation and mobilize energy for defense, so as to prevent the collision of laws from affecting the ground. There is a lot to do. But at this time, the more impatient. Now that the layout is basically completed, Subei simply sits under the world tree, laying the God of War sharp blade in front of him, and using the power of the law of omniscience, analyzes and masters the law of killing and the sword. Every second, Subei could feel his strength increasing. This is different from the changes brought about by rank promotion, and it is a brand new experience. Subei was also pleasantly surprised to discover that in the process of mastering the law of killing, he also learned by analogy, and even unearthed the power of the God of War. As one of the most famous gods in the island world, the God of War died early, but his prestige was recognized by everyone. Subei excavated his power, and the increase in combat power was too great to be measured by numerical values. This is another ability of the law of omniscience. As long as there are clues, it can be deduced and perfected. As the weapon of the God of War, the blade of the God of War has experienced countless battles with the God of War. Under the law of omniscience, this can no longer be called a clue, and it is simply throwing the data directly in the face. If he still can't understand and grasp this, then Subei can return to Blue Star as soon as possible to retire. 2 days later, the 9th monthly Rookie King settlement. There was no change this time, and it was still Subei who was elected. The reward is also very fixed, 3 blood spirit fruit tree seeds. So far, Subei is only 3 months away from the throne of the Supreme Rookie King. Although he didn't know what would be different about the diamond level treasure chest rewarded by the Supreme Rookie King. But judging from the actions of the Lighthouse Country, I am afraid that the diamond level treasure chest is very unique. You can't just look at the grade. No matter how Subei collects information, he has not found any information about the treasure chest of the Supreme Rookie King. The previous 4 Supreme Rookie Kings, they seem to have disappeared, and they had no intersection with the outside world. This is very strange. But the more Subei wants to become the Supreme Rookie King. What the Lighthouse State wants to destroy is what he must accomplish. The newly aggregated data in the past 2 days clearly shows that there are more than a dozen drifting islands in the Lighthouse Country heading towards the same area. They will absorb the island that was breached by the devil on the way, and improve the island's rating. In the end, it merged into a super island. Not only that, but there are also a large number of ability users to join these island masters. The superposition of these means will rapidly increase the island rating of these newcomers. But compared to the quasi-demigod level demon, these methods can only be regarded as trails. While comprehending the law, Subei is also paying attention to the Abyss Passage. If a quasi-demigod level demon wants to descend on the island world, he must pass through here. Any slight changes could not escape his omniscient eyes. Before the quasi-demigod level demon came, the merit points had accumulated to 5 million, and they could be exchanged for a demigod again. After this exchange, the only 2 pieces of 5 million damaged semi-artifacts all fell into the hands of Subei. It is even more difficult for other island owners to exchange semi-artifacts. This time, it was the wings of the demigod Thunder Eagle. The law of thunder contained in it will make Eudora get a lot of improvement. In this way, Subei had 3 demigods in his hand. Veil of the Evernight Goddess, Alchemy Pot of the Potions King, Thunder Eagle Wings. In addition, There is a complete half-artifact natural scepter that is directly opened. If you also count the horn of the sea god, which is gradually recovering its divinity. Just the demigods, Subei has 5 in total. Plus the real artifact Ares blade. The depth of Subei's heritage is beyond the imagination of other island owners. Warning: the urgent mission has been released. Please kill the quasi-demigod demon. Warning: the urgent mission has been released. Please kill the quasi-demigod demon. Warning: the urgent mission has been released. Please kill the quasi-demigod demon. The day after the Thunder Eagle Wing was exchanged, the Abyss Passage changed. At the same time, there is an emergency notification from the island world. And now is the time for great prayer. Subei's face was solemn. The sudden arrival of a quasi-demigod evil demon was in his expectations. It's just that the timing of the other party's choice is very tricky. At this time, during the great prayer, the 2 million natives of the Wood Elf lands were all gathered. If Subei loses in the battle, it will directly affect the faith of the believers, thus affecting the power of faith. It's just that the abacus of the Abyss Demon God is doomed to fail. The loyalty of these 2 million believers is not something that can be shaken by a little rambling. Subei can even say it confidently. Even if he loses in battle, it will not affect the faith of believers. This is the confidence that full loyalty brings. Under Subei's gaze, in the twisted Abyss Passage, a burly and majestic figure gradually emerged. Bitter victory will belong to my Lord. Hope is in front of me. The believer's demeanor returned to calm, with enthusiasm in his eyes. Before he showed up, that twisted and crazy aura made the breath of the believers on the ground a little confused. At this time, Subei was also infused with the power of faith, and his body was bathed in golden light. Now he is like a god walking in the world. Under the gaze of 2 million followers, Subei quickly floated into the air. 66 Now is the time for me to show my faith. 39 Lulu's voice exploded in the ears of all believers. The sound of prayer became louder and louder, and the uniform sound, like the sound of Brahma, dispelled the terrifying pressure brought by the quasi-demigod level demon. Chapter 394 Under the Spotlight. The quasi-demigod demon is called Lochmaz. He is tall and burly, 10 meters tall. Has 6 arms, holding different types of weapons and equipment. There are 3 faces on the head. Joy, sorrow, anger. 3 faces with different expressions. What shocked Subei the most was this quasi-demigod level demon, whose head could turn freely. The 3 faces took turns and glanced at Subei. Subei felt offended. Just look at it once, and look at it 3 times. The key is to watch with different expressions. Is this looking at the enemy, or at the animals in the zoo? Subei felt the need to hack this 3-faced, 6-armed guy to death. Swish. The god of war's blade is already in his hand. Lochmaz was also very refreshed. He switched directly to the face of Joy. His body was shocked, and he instantly crossed a distance of several kilometers before appearing in front of Subei. The strength of a quasi-demigod level demon has already been initially revealed just by this super speed movement. Ordinary people can't react at all. Too fast. And Lochmaz's strength is not only in terms of speed. After closing the distance, the war blade slashed wildly, and the area around Subei was instantly covered by swords, lights, swords, and shadows, and the space was somewhat broken. However, Subei had already begun to respond at the same time as Lochmaz was operating. All 833 eyes of wisdom fully motivated, accurately predicting Lochmaz's action strategy. Clank clank clang. A thunderous sound erupted in the air. Where the sound wave spreads, the space is like waves on the surface of the water. Lochmaz's joy gradually turned to ecstasy, and his mouth was still exhaling with joy. With this level of mental pollution, Subei couldn't help but say angrily, "Shut up." Lochmaz laughed and said sarcastically, "Why, this is unacceptable. In the Abyss, we are receiving the voice of gods and demons all the time, and foreign objects cannot affect us at all." Subei waved the god of war blade, chopped Lochmaz's weapon into several pieces, then pouted and replied, "I just want you to die decently." Lochmaz's arm shook. He took out a new weapon from the void and put it on. His expression of joy subsided, and he said with a thoughtful expression, "It's really surprising that you have obtained the god of war blade." Lochmaz sighed, I once ventured to find this weapon in the turbulent void, but I found nothing. I didn't expect it to be here with you. After sighing, Lockmores grinned. Just right, I killed you. This weapon is my collection. Sube, BHCF, didn't get angry, but smiled. Hope you succeed. After finishing speaking, the demon binding chain has already shot. Lockmodes's eyes flashed with fear, and he no longer had any reservations, and tried his best to urge the law of chaos. Under the disturbance of the law of chaos, the demon binding chain could not maintain its form, turned into the most original energy, and dissipated between heaven and earth. Sube backhand complimented the Tanwu demon slayer / Lockmaz annihilated it again with the law of chaos. After succeeding twice in a row, Lockmaz clearly felt that he was doing it again, and decisively turned on the mocking mode. Too weak, human, you are too weak. Lockmores laughed wildly. I can't figure out why the demon gods are so afraid of you. 39 Your strength is obviously so ordinary. Sube didn't get angry and threw out a few gusts of wind. Lockmaz said with disdain, Tanwu can't hurt me, let alone this low-level skill. But, in the next second, Lockmore's expression froze. There was a scar on his arm. It was injured by the gust of wind. Rockmouse was shocked. His joyful face turned to the side instantly, switched to anger, and at the same time roared, Mortal, how dare you hurt me? 99 Sube waved his arms and said with a smile, It's hurt, so what? 39 Lockmaz was furious, but he had inexplicable doubts in his heart. How to break through the area of chaos law and directly hit his body with this low-level skill like gust / If this question is not clear, Lockmores feels a little uneasy. As a quasi-demigod level powerhouse, such emotions are very rare. The human island owner in front of him obviously only has the supreme level, not even the sanctuary level, which made him feel threatened. The problem, where is it? While thinking about it, Lockmaz felt that his line of sight was passing through his entire body, and the meaning of piercing through everything made him react instantly. The law of omniscience, Lockmaz yelled, you have the law of omniscience. Lockmotes figured out the cause and effect, and murmured, no wonder the devil is so jealous of you, mastering the law of omniscience, you have this qualification. At the same time, Lockmaz also knew why he was injured by Gale / in the face of the law of omniscience, and the complete law of omniscience. The half-baked law of chaos he has mastered is really powerless. Sube was able to easily find weak points in his defenses and attacked lightly. Lockmaz instantly made a judgment that he was at a disadvantage in this battle. This discovery made Lockmaz's expression even more angry. This is unacceptable to him. As a quasi-demigod level powerhouse, how can he fight back and forth with a supreme level powerhouse? Even at a disadvantage. Can't bear it. No matter how arrogant Lockmaz was, Sube charged forward with the God of War blade. He has completed the analysis of the law of chaos, strolling in the turbulent space, raising his hand and hitting Lockmaz's arm directly. Puff. With the sound of the sharp blade penetrating into the body, Lockmaz's arm was cut off. Dark green blood sprayed in the air with the law of chaos. Sube sighed and said, quasi-demigod, but that's all. Before that, he was fully prepared, not only mastered the killing laws and the God of War blade. He also gained some of the God of War power along the way. The result was a punch to the cotton. The quasi-demigod level Lockmaz is really not enough. It was only a quarter of an hour after the start of the war, and he showed signs of being unable to resist. On the ground, 2 million devotees had frenzied faces. Sube hits Lockmaz, which is undoubtedly very visually impactful. Even the mother of dragons, Astlia, was swaying in disbelief. She knew that Sube was strong, but she didn't expect it to be so strong. This is not too exaggerated. With every step, the believers cheered. Looking up, the sight in front of her made the dragon mother dazzled. Sube held the Ares blade back, walked in the air with Lockmaz's head in his hand, and landed slowly. And now Sube, only the supreme class. Then when he is promoted to the sanctuary level, wouldn't he have the ability to fight against demigods or even lower gods? Not even a quasi-demigod level demon could resist. While thinking about it, Astlia, the mother of dragons, heard an earth-shattering roar from the sky. Every step, with unparalleled brilliance and celestial might. Chapter 395 Message from the Abyss. After Lockmaz's law of chaos was analyzed by the law of omniscience, his defeat was already doomed. The most important thing is that Lockmaz is not a demigod after all, and he does not have the kind of immortal and indestructible body. Of course, with the god of war blade in hand, even a true demigod, Subei can slash. Not to mention the quasi-demigod level. The demise of Lockmaz was the result of the superposition of many factors. But Lockmaz was dead, and there was no point in saying more. Subei cut off Lockmaz's head, stripped away some of the chaos laws he had mastered, and gained a deeper understanding of how the Abyss Demon God fought. The law of chaos is the cornerstone of the existence of the entire Abyss. In theory, as long as it is contaminated with Abyss, it will be eroded by the law of chaos. At the same time, master some of the laws of chaos. This is a two-way impact process. It's just that if you haven't reached the sanctuary level, you can't feel the law of this slight confusion. It will even go mad and become an irrational demonized monster. Even the devil is not immune. Restraining his mind, Subei handed Lockmaz's head to Lulu and instructed, hang it on the exhibition board. This is a trophy, a proof of martial arts. There are already many heads hanging on the exhibition board. All were killed by Subei. From the initial platinum level werewolf, to the king of the dark tide Merlix behind, and many famous people, all of them have become the embellishment of the exhibition board. This exhibition board, which is also Subei's promotion process, is an important asset of the Hope Club. Every devotee will walk by the display board and learn about the battles Subei has endured. There may be so many elements of artistic processing in it. However, the purpose of the exhibition board is to highlight Subei's magic and to deepen his beliefs. The power of the law in Lockmaz's head has been completely erased, and Lulu's eye has retired. The great prayer is over. Witnessed by 2 million followers, Subei slayed an unprecedentedly powerful enemy and further created an invincible image. The believers are also very face-saving, and the power of faith provided is very high quality and surging, coupled with the acquisition of the law of chaos, so that Subei has been upgraded again, and has been promoted to the supreme advanced level. After 2 more levels, he is the sanctuary level and can unlock the 5th entry. Going forward, if you want to get the 6th entry, it is estimated that it is time to become a god. While dealing with daily affairs, Subei also observed the Abyss passage in the sky. The Abyss Demon God took great pains to send quasi-demigod level demons in advance, wanting to end the battle in one fell swoop. As a result, no effect was achieved, but instead it was a shame. They will never give up. The ripples in the Abyss passage also declare the determination of the Abyss Devil. However, in the state where the will of the island world is still active, the Abyss Demon can't get over temporarily. Even if Subei wants to kill the god, there is nothing he can do. The two sides could only stare across the Abyss passage. Vaguely, Subei saw a new change in the Abyss passage. There is a small ball of light floating in the void passage, and it is very difficult to move forward. Every step forward must be taken with extreme caution. After all, next to the light ball is the demon army that is coming. Subei did not act rashly, but used the Eye of Omniscience to analyze the origin and content of the light sphere. But before he could start, Lucy appeared from a distance and said a little anxiously, "Islander, I feel the call of the goddess of luck." Subei looked at the ball of light and knew it in his heart. Needless to say, it must be a message from the goddess of luck who fell into the abyss. The all-seeing eye also gains analytical results. The power contained in the ball of light was very similar to the aura on Lucy. It can be regarded as a teacher from the same source. So far, Subei can basically be sure that the light ball is a message from goddess of luck. Most of the time, the abyss demon sent Lockmaz to come, which affected the abyss passage, so that the goddess of luck could find an opportunity to pass a word. The reason why Lucy gets the call. It is because she is positioned as the messenger of the goddess of luck. Although Lucy is now hoping that she will have a good time, the goddess of luck will be thrown out of the sky sooner rather than later. But the goddess of luck didn't know this, and the message she sent must be for Lucy. After thinking for a moment, Subei decided that he would receive this ball of information light. He masters the law of omniscience. and is not worried that the information of the goddess of luck will cause any disadvantages. Unlike Lucy, perhaps exposure to the information light ball will trigger unknown risks. Called Leah to take care of Lucy, Subei took off in place and went to receive the information light ball. The demon army that was coming was so frightened that his soul almost flew away. They also saw the battle just now. Even the quasi-demigod level was killed. How could they be better like shrimp soldiers and crab generals? Seeking flowers. At this point Subei lifts off again, and the demons start to think about a problem. How should they face death? If he didn't rush up and swing two knives, he seemed more courageous. Subei didn't have time to pay attention to these demons now and went straight through. However, the chaotic claws that escaped his body still caused these demons to directly turn into blood mist, and their souls were also annihilated. The remaining demons did not die in the unknown AO, but they were attracted by the space funnel and fell to the ground involuntarily. What greeted them was Dekaya's natural magic. While trying to master the scepter of nature, Dekaya will also participate in the battle to deepen her understanding. Subei stood in the air, looking at the information light ball hidden in the void, but did not directly take action to obtain it. The all-seeing eye begins to analyze. First look at what makes the shell unique. Since this light ball is mostly emitted by the goddess of luck, it must be contaminated with the aura of the goddess of luck. Through the eye of omniscience, one can know his latest status. I have to say that the goddess of luck is indeed worthy of the name of luck. Judging from the information left on the surface, the goddess of luck is still in good condition, a little weak, but it has not been eroded by the abyss. He has not fought with the abyss demon god recently. Although trapped in the abyss and unable to return, it is undoubtedly much better than those fallen gods. After the surface information analysis was completed, Subei stretched out his hand to break open the void and took out the information light ball. Then, a scene appeared in his mind. In the picture, there is a vague female figure, which seems to be saying something. "Where is my messenger?" After waiting for a few minutes, Subei finally got the details. That is, when the gem cat touches the information light ball, it will trigger the extra settings in the light ball, transmit the coordinates back to the abyss, and send it back to the goddess of luck. After analyzing the law of omniscience, Subei discovered the hidden effect of this message. But the good news is, that message is repeated. In the case of determining the coordinates, the goddess of luck can find a way to return to the island world. The Tao is to see the essence through the appearance. The goddess of luck passed back only one sentence. The sound was very noisy, and it seemed that the information light sphere was affected when it traveled through the void. Chapter 396, Hidden Dangers. It was a matter of the gods, and Subei couldn't make a decision lightly. Whether or not the information light ball should be contacted by Lucy needs to be discussed. Although he has no demigods under his command, there are several sanctuaries. Zacharias and the king of the wind dragon were on Shen Kingling's island, and it was inconvenient to call them back. Still Leah and Dekaya. Dragons and elves have inherited a lot of knowledge, which may be of some help to the current situation. With this in mind, Subei put away the information light ball and took it back to the ground. On the way, he killed tens of thousands of demons. Subei didn't make a move. It was entirely due to the law of chaos. With his current strength, it is really effortless to kill the highest level of demons. However, in this way, the combat troops under his command will not be trained. This is what Subei doesn't want to see. Most of the two space funnels will be killed by the strong, and a small number of them will successfully land on the ground, and they will fight with the defensive troops, becoming an experienced pack for walking. 833 and sharpening the killing skills of the soldiers. The whole process ran for several days, smoothly and efficiently. Subei didn't intervene much, returned to the island with the information light ball, and then called Leah and Dekaya. By the way, I brought Lucy with me. After explaining the situation, Subei asked, "Leah, how many parts of your dragon records are about the goddess of luck?" Leah thought for a moment and replied, "Although there are not many records about the goddess of luck, it is certain that the goddess of luck has a good relationship with the gods, and also has a lot of intersections with the dragon god." Subei pondered for a moment, then said, "Is there any record of the information before goddess of luck became a god?" Leah replied, This part of the information is not available. DKI added, not only the goddess of luck, but now the information about the gods is only at the stage of the battle of gods, and there will be no further information. 35 Subei nodded. At first, the battle of gods lasted for tens of thousands of years, and after the battle of gods, thousands of years have passed. Even if there is a record, it is estimated that it is drowned in the dust. After asking all the records of the dragon and elves about the goddess of luck, Subei did not picture the specific appearance of the goddess in his mind. After all, gods can change their appearance at will. But the conversation didn't come out of nowhere. At least Subei found out by accident. Before the goddess of luck became a god, most of them were human. This is outrageous. There are no native humans in the island world. Neither the Aborigines nor the Blue Star humans have encountered humans here. As a result, Subei used the law of omniscience to calculate that Lady Luck was once a human being. This is outrageous. Aslia and Dikaya were also confused. Although no one stipulates that the goddess of luck cannot be human, if human beings are so strong, how could they become extinct in the island world? The three looked at each other. Subei vaguely felt as if he had discovered something. However, there is too little information to make accurate judgments. So the topic was put on hold and turned to another matter. Do you want Lucy to touch the information light orb? Subei thought for a moment, took out the ball of light from the void, then looked at Lucy and asked, how do you feel? Lucy felt it carefully for a long time, with a tangled expression on her face, and replied, there are two voices in my mind. One that brings me into contact with the ball of light, the voice of the goddess, is my mission. The other is the silent and invisible grand will, let me not touch it. Outsiders may not understand these words, but Subei understands them by heart. The second sound comes from the effect of constant loyalty of the system. Subei looked thoughtful. The system judged that it would be dangerous for Lucy to come into contact with the information light ball, so it issued a warning. Taking this as an opportunity, Subei once again urged the law of omniscience to analyze. He really found the hidden danger. In the information light ball, there is a ray of divine will of the goddess of luck. With Lucy's current strength, at the moment of contact with the information light ball, all her thoughts will be emptied and she will become the container of the goddess of luck. Of course, the goddess of luck cannot come completely now. But after he grasped Lucy's body, he could contact the lucky church to prepare for the coming. Subei immediately put the information light ball back into the void. These gods are really not fuel-efficient lamps, and every move has multiple arrangements. After the information light ball returned to the void, Lucy heaved a sigh of relief and said, there is no sound now. Subei nodded and ordered, Astria, look at Lucy next, and contact me directly if you have any questions. Astlia took the lead. The information light ball of the goddess of luck, Subei is going to place it in the void first, without any additional processing. When Lucy's strength is improved again, she can carry information, and at the same time, her mind will not be affected. At that time, it will be the beginning of complete contact with goddess of luck. Now, let's continue to deal with the abyss. Subei finds out the map and sets his sights on the area where the newcomers of the Lighthouse Kingdom gathered. The Lighthouse Kingdom made such a big battle and colluded with a quasi-demigod level demon. If he didn't respond, wouldn't it mean that he was not warm and friendly enough? Judging from the distance, the sea area where the newcomers of the Lighthouse Kingdom gathered was at least 30,000 miles away from the Wood Elves' territory. But it doesn't matter. After all, the island owner has the ability to teleport. After checking the main coordinates of the island of the task force, Subei selected the target. 8,000 nautical miles away from the target sea area of the Lighthouse country, there is an island with a special task force. After contacting the island owner named Lin Feng, Subei teleported over. Then he flew away with the god of war blade. Lin Feng opened his mouth and didn't have time to say anything. The news of the reorganization of the special task force has already spread. The members have no resistance to Subei becoming the new leader. Even looking forward to it. After all, Subei is now the leader of all island owners. Don't look at seniority. Don't look at identity. Just looking at the terrifying kill count that is about to approach 20 million. You can know how strong he is. So when Lin Feng knew that Su Bei was coming, he was very excited. As a result, as soon as Su Bei arrived, he flew away with a knife before he could say a word. Lin Feng couldn't help muttering, "Who is so ignorant of life and death? It is actually worthy of President Su's personal shot." Lin Feng decisively opened the chat area and began to pay attention to relevant information. Clues were soon discovered. In the chat area, the owner of the lighthouse country began to strongly condemn Su Bei's uncivilized behavior. He actually attacked those innocent newcomers to the island owner. The people who didn't know the truth immediately roared. The chat area exploded again. However, as the island owner of the special task force shook his head out of the lighthouse country's plan, the island owners discovered that the original lighthouse country had actually made a big move to make trouble. Quasi-demigod level evil 2.5 demons. Such a big hand. Many island owners even bluntly stated that they had previously discovered that there was a vision in the Abyss Passage, and there was an extremely terrifying aura. Now it seems that it is the quasi-demigod level demon. As a result, such a powerful enemy was hacked to death by Su Bei. What can I say? The play is as stable as ever. This battle caused heavy losses to the lighthouse country. The island owner killed it on the spot, and the power user troops also killed most of them. If it were them, they would definitely not give up. To be honest, Su Bei didn't go to raise the lighthouse country's hometown, which is already a lot of face. Su Bei glanced at the trend in the chat area and didn't pay attention. Especially those high-level ability users who came to support, none of them let go. He just broke the 15th lighthouse island. At the same time, the island owners also knew why Su Bei would attack the lighthouse island. Chapter 397 Redeem the half-artifact again. The news of the annihilation of the new island owner caused a shock in the lighthouse country. But those in the White House did not dare to trouble Su Bei at all. They never thought of it. The quasi-demigod level demon was so unscathed that he was killed by Su Bei as soon as he arrived. Then Su Bei launched a revenge and wiped out the new island masters they had prepared. Where is the problem? It doesn't matter if the quasi-demigod level demon is hacked to death. How did the new island owner they gather reveal the coordinates? The plan is top secret, known only to those involved. All other unrelated personnel were silenced to ensure that information would not be leaked. They have also tried to have other intelligence personnel carry out deductions, and it is impossible to confirm the details of the plan. But now that the new island owner has been wiped out, how to explain it? In the White House, the participants quarreled endlessly. For such a big loss, someone has to take the blame. This time the host has changed it. The one who took the blame last time resigned. But it was not enough to quell the anger of the participants. But these people do not have to continue to worry. The roar of the devil sounded in the outside world, followed by the sound of fighting. Boom. The wall was hit by the devil 17 times and a big hole was created. Hundreds of high-level demons rushed to the venue to slaughter. The screams spread out 100 meters. Outside the White House, several figures in cloaks disappeared into the night. Just one prayer left. My Lord's enemies will eventually be punished. The day after beheading the quasi-demigod level powerhouse Lakmaz, Su Bei accumulated 6 million merit points again, opened the merit store, and was ready to go shopping again. Said to be shopping, in fact, just choose the lowest price damaged semi-artifact, nothing more. Following the veil of the Evernight Goddess, the Potions King Alchemy Pot and the Thunder Eagle Wings, the fourth broken demi-artifact, Su Bei is ready to exchange for the Bloodlord Ring. This is the equipment of a blood race demigod. Ready to hand over to Jerome. The law of blood contained in it is a very efficient means of killing the enemy. As long as it is a creature containing blood, it will be restrained. Island Master Su Bei, you have consumed 6 million merit points to get the Bloodlord Ring. A quaint ring appears in the palm of Su Bei. Just holding it in your hand, as if you can see the surging waves of blood. The air lingering on the tip of the nose has a bloody smell that can't be dissipated. As a semi-artifact, the Bloodlord's Ring contains part of the law of blood, and its main effect is to strengthen the blood technique. This can be superimposed with the entry, and the most exaggerated. This is a multiplication bonus, which can increase Jerome's power several times again. With this ring, Jerome can quickly be promoted to the supreme top level and try to hit the sanctuary level. And once he is promoted to the sanctuary level, then the members of the Blood Clan under his command will also receive the award of the River of Blood and have higher potential. Strengthening Jerome alone has led to the promotion of nearly 10,000 Blood Clans. It's a guaranteed win. However, before handing the Blood Lord's ring to Jerome, Subei logically parsed the law of blood inside. To be truly omniscient and omnipotent, the law of omniscience alone is not enough. All of the power of the law is fully mastered. That is called true omniscience. The parsing process only lasted less than half an hour, and then Subei called Jerome. Jerome immediately understood when he saw the Blood Lord's ring, saluted and said, "I can't repay the gift of my lord." Subei waved his hand and said, "It's all my own, so don't be polite." Jerome nodded and agreed, "My lord is so generous and merciful." After handing over the Blood Lord's ring, Jerome also excitedly ran under the World Tree and began to meditate and comprehend. He has not reached the sanctuary level now, and it is difficult to touch the law of blood in the ring. However, with the power of the ring, the promotion time will be greatly shortened, and it can be used soon. It's just that Jerome chose to comprehend under the World Tree, and he really didn't want to understand. When the power of the World Tree shone, Jerome jumped up directly and rushed back to the blood pool with his feet. The power of the Blood Clan does not match the World Tree at all, so it's no wonder that Jerome can sit still. The Kaya, who was sitting silently under the tree, almost laughed out loud and didn't care, and continued to fuse and master the scepter of nature. Her magic power is increasing day by day, and it has the breath of some natural laws. When she completely masters the scepter of nature, Dekaya has a high probability of becoming a demigod. At that time, Subei will give her some guidance and confusion, and point out the direction. The position of a demigod is a sure thing. Dekaya's progress is advancing by leaps and bounds, and Claudia is not far behind. After the blockade of the island world was lifted, she was also successfully promoted to the sanctuary level. Coupled with the blessing of the horn of the Shanghai god, it is also steadily improving. In contrast, the Dragon Mother's ascension speed has slowed down. But that doesn't work either. Looking around the entire merit store, Subei couldn't find the dragon's semi-artifact. Considering that the dragon god had only fallen into the abyss not long ago, Subei had reason to believe the divine artifact of the dragon race also remained in the abyss. If Astelia wants to prevent the dragon god from being born in the abyss, she must retrieve the dragon artifact. Take at least a portion of it. And this matter, in the case of unable to reach the abyss, is very difficult. It can even be said that it is completely impossible. And this is actually the biggest danger. Once the Abyss Demon Dragon Clan masters the power left by the Dragon God and reshapes the position of the Dragon God, then the barrier of the island world will no longer exist. This matter, Subei and Astelia discussed several times. The conclusion is that it can only be accelerated. You must fight before the abyss invades the island world in a big way. As long as they counterattack the abyss, then even if the power of the dragon god really can't be grabbed, there is no need to worry. 837 Because by the time, it has already reached the stage of war of gods. Demigods and gods are the main force in battle. This is also the main reason why Subei is deployed everywhere to speed up the acquisition of the number of kills. 100 semi-artifacts, he wants to obtain all of them, in order to cultivate the gods. Along with mastering the power of the law inside, realize true omniscience. And after the half-artifact is exchanged, it is an artifact. Considering that the price of artifacts is calculated in billions, Subei suddenly felt that the current increase in the number of kills was not fast enough. Must speed up again. After dealing with the daily affairs of the island, Subei teleported directly to Shen Kingling's island. With more time to focus on your own maintenance, Subei plans to keep 10,000 warriors for replenishment, and send the rest back to the Wood Elves' territory. Shen Kingling is practicing yoga. Subei nodded. Go, show me. Zacharias and the King of Wind Dragons came to greet him. After inquiring about the relevant defenses and making sure nothing goes wrong, Subei looked at Shen Kingling and asked, how is the migration of the surrounding aborigines going? Since Subei deployed 50,000 indigenous warriors on their island, plus 2 sanctuaries, Shen Qingling began to lie down and fish. Shen Qingling replied, I was going to talk to you about this, but all the people in the area of 500 li have gathered, with a total of more than 60,000. It is impossible for so many aborigines to stay on Shen Qingling Island. The burden is too great. Chapter 398, Transforming the Special Task Force Headquarters. It did not take much time to refresh the fixed entries for more than 60,000 aborigines. A glance at it will solve it. The only pity is that these aborigines are not too high. Shen Qingling's island is relatively remote, which has given her the opportunity to develop steadily, but it has also restricted her development to a certain extent. Like the island of Subei, the first location is not far from the Mermaid Territory. Located in the ocean current area, it is rich in resources. Although there are many enemies, as long as they can withstand it, the development speed will be rapid. There are pros and cons to everything, and different perspectives will bring about different results. Shen Qingling didn't care much. She doesn't have the ability of Subei, and she has changed to other places, and may not have the current development progress. It's just that Shen Qingling couldn't gather more aboriginal people, which made Shen Qingling feel a little uneasy. I didn't feel anything before, but now I feel that the remote location is indeed a lot of inconvenience. Subei saw Shen Qingling's depression and said with relief, don't think too much, 60,000 aboriginal people are enough, and you can explore other areas. Shen Qingling nodded, and then said, are you going to the Special Affairs Team headquarters? Subei replied, that's what I meant. Bringing the aborigines back to the Wood Delft territory for resettlement, Subei called Shen Qingling and teleported to the Special Affairs Team headquarters. During this time, Subei also strengthened the headquarters of the Special Task Force, and there was basically no problem with the defense. The main reason is that the headquarters of the Special Affairs Team has a foundation, and if you just brush some entries, you will get a lot of improvement. Fi Tongjai, who was on duty at the headquarters, received the news and brought people to greet him. Before Subei appointed 3 representatives, Shen Qingling, Dao Xuanhao and Fi Tongjai. But it is impossible for the 3 of them to stay at the headquarters every day, and they are on duty in turn. This month is Fi Tongjai. Meet the president. Fi Tongjai and others saluted and greeted with joy on their faces. Since they decided to make Subei the leader, the difference was immediately felt. The most intuitive thing is that Fi Tongjai can work safely at the headquarters without worrying about its island being destroyed. Subei sent 20,000 indigenous warriors to his island, including 5,000 Templars. There are as many as 5 supreme powerhouses. Such a strong defense force is 100 times stronger than the power user troops formed by Fiji Tongjai before. The demons there were beaten to the point of retreating and wanted to go to other areas. However, although Fi Tongjai is on duty at the headquarters, the work of gathering the surrounding indigenous people has not stopped. After all, he has developed in the island world for nearly 100 years. With his guidance, the strong men under Subei can easily rescue the aborigines. Nearly 200,000 aboriginal people have gathered, just waiting to be transferred. I was going to fight a quasi-demigod level demon before, so I was delayed. This time I came to the headquarters to deal with everything. After explaining for a while, Fi Tongjai went back to arrange affairs. After all, there are 200,000 aboriginal people, not a small number. Some preparation time is required. During this period, Subei would not be idle either, just helping other members of the Special Task Force to strengthen his troops. Under Subei's instructions, not only the decision-making level of the Special Task Force was reorganized, but also the members below. The island owner who has the ability to move is responsible for gathering nearby island owners to form a large island for joint defense. There is some resistance. After all, not everyone is willing to give up the identity of the island owner and become a deputy island owner. But such are only a few. No matter how bad the deputy island owner is, he is better than the one who was blasted out of the island world. In front of life, there is nothing that cannot be negotiated. This work was actually carried out by the special team before, but after Subei took over, the process was only accelerated. After the islands gather, more demons will be attracted to attack, and they need to strengthen their defenses. In addition to sending Aboriginal warriors to the past, Subay will also assist the island owner to strengthen the power user troops. The new list completes the statistics. A total of more than 500 people. Subay contacted these island owners and teleported to their island. With a glance, what you think is what you get. 500 islands were merged, and the number of enhanced abilities exceeded 5 million. In addition to those Aboriginal people who gathered in the past, each island has about 30,000 defensive troops. This will undoubtedly bring a huge burden to the island owners. As long as it is daily consumption. The higher the rank, the greater the consumption, which is beyond doubt. Without energy replenishment, even a sanctuary-level powerhouse would be weak. This issue will be resolved by a special team. It's actually Subay. As the chairman of the special task force now, he cannot stand idly by. Subay deliberately placed hundreds of first-order magic printed printers at the headquarters of the special task force, and the magic printed scrolls produced were sold. After all 500 islands have been turned around, the preparations have also been completed in Fitongjai. Subay returned to the Wood Elves first and received 200,000 Aborigines. After the entry was strengthened, there were more than a dozen supreme powerhouses under Subay. They will be scattered all over the place to assist members of the special team to guard the island. With so many foreign armed forces, Subay's kill count skyrocketed again. It is terrifying to accumulate 5 million in one day. And it's not over yet. Subay will continue to strengthen until the island owner under the command of the special team completes a new round of fusion. The total number of island owners under the special task force exceeds 100,000. There is still a lot of room for development. According to Subay's calculations, if the demon maintains the current throughput, his daily kill count will increase to tens of millions. Even an expensive artifact can be exchanged for 10 days and a half months. This is something other island owners dare not even think about. After dealing with the transfer of the Aboriginal people, Subay went to the headquarters of the Special Task Force again. Tong, Keon Heazao, G also sent over to report the situation. President, in about 3 days, the new Aborigines will be able to complete the gathering, and it is conservatively estimated that it will exceed 150,000. Subay nodded and praised. Islander freely is the pillar of the country. Fitongjai smiled modestly, and at the same time seemed a little complacent. This is the seed of performance that is relied upon. The work of transferring Aboriginal people is long-term. Promotion to the sanctuary level is just around the corner. At this time, the benefits of the special task force were shown. In the future kingdom of God, there must be a place for him. 100,000 island owners, each rescue 10 Aboriginal people, that is the number of 1 million. The power of belief that can be obtained has also increased. At present, there are more than 2 million and nearly 3 million in the Wood Elves territory, which is far from enough. Looking at the entire island world, the number of indigenous people is more than hundreds of millions. The number of indigenous people that Subay can recruit will continue to increase. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 399. The number of Aborigines exceeds 5 million. While strengthening the defense capabilities of the island owner to which the special task force belongs, Subay did not forget to strengthen the special task team headquarters. Buildings that had no real role were demolished and new fortresses were built instead. At the same time, Subay also relocated thousands of dwarves here to forge demon-killing cannons on the spot. This also saves the cost of the transfer process. The accumulation is a very exaggerated number. In fact, it is more convenient to relocate the headquarters of the special task force to the territory of the Wood Elves. But after all, this place has been developed for hundreds of years, so it is a pity that it is abandoned like this. Rather continue to develop and build. Subay was going to wait for a few more sanctuary-level powerhouses under his command, so he built a space funnel at the headquarters of the special task force, and turned it into a burial place for demons. In Subay's plan, The headquarters of the Special Task Force will be permanently stationed with 500,000 combatants. This is not only the main battlefield to defend against demons, but also is responsible for rushing to rescue various places and assisting the defense of the island masters of the Special Task Force in various places. 500,000 combat troops are the most basic requirement. Sube even transferred 3 Reiki springs to the headquarters to increase the concentration of Reiki here. On the Wood Elf side, there is a world tree, not to mention 3 less Aura springs. Even if there are 10 less, it will not have much impact. The renovation of the headquarters has greatly increased the confidence of the members of the Special Task Force. In particular, the 500,000 troops proposed by Sube made the island owners cheer. After 837, if you encounter a demon besieged again, you will no longer be afraid and ask for help directly. The representatives at the headquarters will dispatch troops to help them annihilate the invading enemies. After some transfer arrangements, the affairs of the headquarters were finally completed, and Sube was able to return to the island. Dki came over, rubbed Sube's forehead lightly, and said softly, "My lord is tired. You might as well rest for a while." Sube felt the coolness of his forehead and sat for a while. His mood was much calmer. He has done enough. If this arrangement continues, the special team can't meet his expectations, then he has to wonder what these people are doing. Fortunately, the special team is very competitive, and there is no situation where it is only necessary to eat and do nothing. The day after finishing the arrangement, Sube received a contact from Zhao. He gathered 300,000 Aboriginal people, ready to transfer. Sube was overjoyed. Lao can still do things very well. The arrival of 300,000 Aboriginals made the Wood Elves' territory lively again. Just after settling in, another senior island owner, Li Zhuanan, also sent a message. He attacked everywhere with the powers under his command and rescued 200,000 Aboriginals. The representatives of the Hope Society have completed the initial mission, and they all yearn for a new life and can be sent at any time. Sube took it decisively. Such information keeps coming. The number of violent owners in the Special Task Force may have decreased after the merger. However, the overall strength did not decrease but increased, and with the addition of the fighters that Sube arranged, the strength increased by at least dozens of times. After these island owners gained a foothold, they immediately carried out Sube's orders and began to receive the Aborigines. In just one day, Sube received more than 1 million Aboriginal people. There are more than 200 new supreme powerhouses just added. As for the Xinyao grade, it is calculated in 10,000. After all, it has been almost 2 months since the demon invasion, and the Aboriginal people who can live to this day have the ability to watch their homes. The weak have been eliminated. The strength of the Wood Elves' territory has also reached a new level. Sube also did not hold all these strong men in his hands, and sent them out decisively to further strengthen the strength of the members of the special team. In this way, there are more Aboriginal tribes they can help. Except for those who are stubborn and will fight to the end in the territory. Most of the Aborigines have no objection to going to the Wood Elves' territory. Aboriginal people are uniquely connected, and let them know. The current Wood Elves' territory can be described as a place blessed by gods. Even the Dragon Clan has settled there, so what else do they have to worry about? Through teleportation, the progress of the Aborigines arriving in the Wood Elves' territory can be described as ridiculously fast. The growth rate of the Aborigines in the Wood Elves' territory even exceeded the growth of the number of kills. That is the result, BHCF, that Sube achieved after painstakingly figuring out the layout. As a result, the Aborigines came in waves without stopping at all. This situation is just the beginning. As more and more Special Task Force island owners get the reinforcement of Sube, they have the spare power to leave the island to explore. Be able to reach more Aboriginal people. In just 2 days, more than 5 million natives had gathered in the Wood Elves' territory. That is to say, Sube has been expanding the defense circle of the fortress, and the demons have been killed in a concentrated way. Otherwise, the original Wood Elf territory alone would not be able to accommodate so many Aborigines. Lulu has been so busy recently that his feet are not touching the ground, and his lips are chapped. But he didn't care at all. Instead he was full of energy and fighting spirit. These are all believers of the Lord and members of the Hope Society. They cannot patronize and place them, but neglect spiritual care. They must have spiritual sustenance. The bishops of the Church of Hope have launched a vigorous expansion of the faith. The belief and blessing of the 5 million Aboriginal people is unimaginable. But this is not the end. Hope the bishops have just finished teaching the new Aboriginal people, and the newest Aboriginal people are here again. Another million. In addition to the large increase of Aborigines in the Wood Elves territory, there are also Aborigines gathering on the island of the island owner of the Special Task Force. Some Aboriginal people do not want to leave the territory too far, and simply settle on the island. Subay decisively sent agents to teach them on the island. Faith knows no distance. Even if he is separated by thousands of miles, as long as he is devout enough, Subay can still receive the power of faith accurately. Subay's daily affairs are busy and orderly. On the third day after redeeming the Bloodlord's ring, he once again obtained millions of merit points and opened the merit store again. This time, it was Belaran's longbow. Belalan is a demigod, and Subay is not very clear about the specific origin, and there are few relevant records. But what is certain is that this demigod has mastered some of the wind laws. This longbow was just given to Juan Menayu. Juan Menayu was very happy to receive the half artifact. And it's her favorite bow weapon. Although a little broken, the bowstring is not broken. In the current situation, it seems that Subay has not made any big moves. This is still the case that she has not mastered the law of the wind system, so it has such power. The time advantage is always on his side. He shot an arrow at will, directly killing a diamond-level demon thousands of meters away. This is beyond doubt. Juan Menayu's rank is further improved. He will begin to integrate the mastering rules. However, his background is improving sharply. Coupled with the completion of the longbow repair, it is enough to cause a fatal threat to the demigod-level powerhouse. Juan Menayu pulled the longbow, and the transparent arrows condensed on the bowstring. Chapter 400. The slaughtering demon list is settled, directly to the demigod-level treasure chest. Subay greatly increased the number of Aborigines under his command, and at the same time used the rapidly increasing merit points to continuously exchange broken semi-artifacts. On the other hand, the semi-monthly settlement of the demon-slaying list also started again. All rewards have been settled. Get a gold-level treasure chest. You are at the top of the slaughtering demon list. The extra rewards have been settled. Get a demigod-level treasure chest with a click. 2 treasure chests appeared in front of Subay. There is not much to say about the gold-level treasure chest. This is what everyone has. Most of them are blueprints and equipment. From the chat area, some people have obtained professional inheritance. The rewards are very generous. And what Subay got was anti-magic alloy. How to say it? It is optional. Anyway, there are also 100 tons, which are directly sent to the forging workshop and transformed into armor plates. However, compared to the daily output of thousands of tons or even tens of thousands of tons, this is a bit underwhelming. The fortress that Subay is building now is not limited to the territory of the Wood Elves. The headquarters of the Special Task Force, as well as the island where it belongs to the island owner, need to build a fortress to deal with the follow-up offensive of the Devil. With such a large amount of work, the anti-magic alloy consumed every day is calculated in thousands of tons. The headquarters of the Special Task Force has opened a second forging workshop, which specializes in smelting anti-magic alloys. That is to say, killing demons is fast enough now. Otherwise, if there is a lack of core materials, no matter how many furnaces, you can only stare blankly. The effect of the anti-magic alloy can not only effectively resist the damage of the magic fire cannon, but also reduce the power of the demon's skills. Even if the devil does not have a war fortress, the anti-magic alloy is a very effective means of defense. Even the armor that warriors wear now is made of anti-magic alloys. Those with insufficient physical strength to support full body armor also have shields made of anti-magic alloys. To sum up, The anti-magic alloy has become the most consumed material in Subei's hands. There's nothing wrong with getting 100 tons for free. What really caught Subei's attention was that this stage reward was given directly to a demigod-level treasure chest. This is completely different from the miserly image that the island world has always had. However, Subei looked at his kill count of more than 20 million. And felt that giving a demigod-level treasure chest was not too much at all. The number of enemies he killed was dozens of times that of the second place. The other 99 people in the top 100 of the demon slaughtering list are about the same as him. In this case, it is quite normal to receive a demigod-level treasure chest. Subei didn't care either and opened the box directly. A drop of crystal clear water, teardrops of the goddess of life, demigod level, contains a strong breath of life, and has an excellent effect on the growth of the world tree. The appearance of this thing made Subei a little surprised. Turned out to be consumables. Thinking of this, Subei's heart moved. Could it be that the follow-up slaughtering list will be settled, and the goddess of life will be given tears? In that case, the growth progress of the world tree will be very impressive. It will even become the first demigod unit in Subei's hands. Tears floated in the palm of his hand, and Subei went up to refresh the entry for 4 consecutive times. Turn a teardrop directly into a bucket of teardrops. As soon as it fell to the root of the world tree went directly to a height of several hundred meters, and the diameter of the canopy was over 1,000 meters. Even in the farthest fortress, the world tree here could be clearly seen. And the old tree heart in the wood elf palace skipped the preparation stage directly, and a new wood elf was born. There are 500. This number is 10 times higher than before. However, according to Subei's calculations, it may stabilize at this number in the future. The basic attributes of the new generation of wood elves are higher, and it is very difficult to cultivate them. Unless the world tree can really go through the growth period and more energy is transmitted to the tree core, it cannot be accelerated. But 500 new wood elves are already exaggerated. In surprise, Takaya brought down Subei directly and had a friendly battle. After the magic power subsided, Takaya said with a little distress, "In the language I calculated, there should be a holy sun. Why hasn't there been any movement yet?" Subei couldn't explain this question either. After all, under the detection of the omniscient eye, whether it is him or Takaya Yvette and others, there is no problem. The only explanation is that their strength is too strong, and the difficulty of giving birth to offspring increases linearly. Takaya resented for a moment, and quickly adjusted her mentality, and went to study the natural scepter again. Subei was helpless and began to study the world tree. After the teardrop irrigation of the goddess of life just now, there seems to be something different. But before he started researching, he was interrupted by Takaya. It's fine now. The vitality contained in the tears of the goddess of life is indeed very powerful. For flowers middle. And Subei also used the entry to increase the total amount, which is equivalent to watering down hundreds of tears. Not to mention the world tree in the growth stage, even if it is a complete world tree, I am afraid that it has never enjoyed this kind of treatment. While the body was growing vigorously, there was an additional fruit on the canopy of the world tree. That is the fruit that contains the law of life. As long as you eat it, you can immediately grasp part of the law of life. And the level requirements are not high. As long as you have the strength above the diamond level, you can master it. The law of life is slightly weaker in terms of killing enemies, but it is the strongest in terms of resilience. The only fly in the ointment may be that there is only one fruit of the world tree. After thinking for a moment, Subei picked the ripe fruit and finished it in a few mouthfuls. He is very clear that only by standing upright can he give his people a stable life. Now is not the time to be hypocritical. The moment the world tree fruit was eaten, Subei clearly felt the difference. His self-viability is constantly improving. The body is already close to perfect, and there is the possibility of further improvement. This is very rare. As expected of the output of the world tree, it is indeed powerful. Subei secretly sighed. To Subei's surprise, the fruit of the world tree not only brought an increase in vitality, but also gave him a deeper mastery and integration of various laws. The law of life is the best lubricant, so that the laws he masters can get along well, instead of doing their own things and not related to each other like before. Every time you attack, you need to choose the corresponding law power. But after eating the fruit of the world tree, every time he attacked, the power of the existing law would be attached. Including the law of killing, the law of nature, the law of chaos, the law of water. Under the superposition of so many levels of power, it is a fantasy that the enemy wants to defend. One kind of power is easy to deal with, and several or even dozens of powers are superimposed. It takes a lot of time to distinguish, and how to make judgments and responses in an instant. Subei can clearly say. Now that he is fighting against Lakmaz again, he can cut off the opposite head with one knife. The foundation has been completed, and the next thing to do is to advance to the rank. Achieve sanctuary first, and then attack the demigods. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.